Arrive at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue.
Let's go back. Back in the time. Back in 73, in the borough of Bronx. Man, you couldn't be weak. Man, you had to be smart. See, we talking about streets. Now we talking about art. When we talking about beats, man, we talking about heart. We was rocking the heartbeat, live in the park. Guns spark in the dark. It was all just a part of the 80s Bronx scene that created art. How you know, KRS? Cause I was there from the start. 1600 Sedgwick Avenue, that was the spot. 1520, hip-hop started right on my block. This original hip-hop, whether you like it or not. I'm reminding through this rhyming cause you might have forgot. Drop on the spot, B-boy start pop. Live on the block, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, grab writers don't stop. Bottom to the top, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, MCs make it hot. Microphone rock, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, DJs on the chop. Cut, mix, scratch, this is raw. See, when we would begin, they brought the heroin in. They was really determined that we was never gonna win. But by looking within, we began to believe that we was breakers and writers, chasing MCs. We was so damn poor, we was eating free cheese. But that made us raw, we started eating MCs. This before the fees and the MTVs. When you walked in New York and your ears would freeze. Walla beats and leaks, mock necks and tees, nylon BVDs. We was fucking with these, we was fucking with this, we was fucking with that. But when the 80s came in, we started fucking with crack. And along with the crack came a big old gap. And along with the gap came a big old stack. Cause if you ain't had that, you was the next to get jacked. This the way that it was, I'm just taking it back. Drop on the spot, B-boy start pop. Live on the block, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, grab writers don't stop. Bottom to the top, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, MCs make it hot. Microphone rock, this is raw hip hop. Drop on the spot, DJs on the chop. Cut, mix, scratch, this is raw. This the way that it was, this the way that it went. Man, you had to survive, card note with the rent. When the 90s arrived, 80s money was spent. All them dudes that was live, to the prison they went. And them dudes that survived, they began to repent. Then they realized in rap, there was money to get. So gangsters became rappers, rappers became gangsters. Fake became the real for the paper.
Peace and much love. I am Minister Someone. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. Here is our teacher, KRS-ONE.
Yes, indeed. I am KRS-ONE, and that is Son One on the other side of your screen. G-Son is behind me over here. We just arrived in Newark, New Jersey, y'all. It's on and popping.
That's right.
So let me get right to work, to be honest with you. You can see I'm in some cheesy hotel here. Shout out to, I shouldn't say cheesy. It's a good hotel. It's nice. For that reason, I won't even say the name. But what I will say is that usually, you know, we're broadcasting from a more studious or controlled environment. But when I'm on the road, you know, we broadcast from wherever we can in that sense. It keeps the consistency going, and we're teaching in real time. So on that note of teaching in real time, I'm going to first start off, I'm going to start off with some announcements, which is basically our teaching today. As you know, we finished reading the gospel. We have one piece left, which are the shout outs. But that I'm going to do at the Temple of Hip Hop itself, 55 Ludlow Street, Newark, New Jersey. So I'm going to go there and finish the gospel reading there at the temple. And it's the shout outs too. And I want to be in that environment when I give those shout outs. You'll also hear as well why that's the case as we go through our planning real quick. But the teaching is in the planning. That's what this is today. The teaching is in the planning, in the organization, in the teamwork, in the trusting of one another to get things done, in the empowering of one another to get things done. People don't realize this, and this is why the rich, the song said, the saying says, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Well, I have a new one. The smart get smarter and the dumb get dumber. And I say that respectfully, because if you're waddling in a stupid situation, and I mean that, you don't want to criticize anybody, but some people do some dumb stuff and they keep doing it. Even when I made an error. I saw it was an error, so I grow from that error. I did that, it was wrong or incorrect or not the right technique or whatever it was. I learned the right technique. I saw what was right. I did what was right. This kind of thing. You grow from your mistakes. You grow from learning new things I didn't know before. I move on. But there's too many people right now that are not learning from their own mistakes, not learning from a proven master, a proven teacher, a proven somebody comes forward and say, yo, you should make a right as opposed to a left, and people are bugging out. Son, what you was gonna say?
Your audio is cracking.
Is it crackling right now? It is.
Yes.
Let me see what I can do with that. See if you can find another video to play, and
we can hear you clearly. It's just cracking.
You want to get it on the no, actually, huh? No. I was just thinking of to listen to it on something else. I need another medium to actually listen. But you know what though? You might have to get this crackle.
Yeah. To me, you're understandable. So
okay,
we'll get through it.
I'm trying to think. There's nothing else. I don't have an external mic, and it clearly is the connection. It's an internet thing.
Well, I think this happened before.
It did.
And we had to switch, so it's something.
Oh, we switched computers before. Yeah, when we was in California, I had switched over to another computer.
Play the video.
Yeah, let me. Hit us with the video. We'll come right back. Let me see if I can't switch the computer. Yeah! My lyrics is crazy. They must be crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Chris is the pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel. Gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting a match, you the actual factual front to the back of you, capping and cracking, you packing a Mac for you. Look at them live at you. Lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting with meaning, you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am reaching with all that I'm teaching, that love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason, so they can believe in the truth of MCing is crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal, natural, ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking outcome to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. Look at them faking what we are creating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people ain't slaying. Well, maybe you do it, then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime, and the police are joking, the TV is playing that okey doke while our people are dying. You seeing them joke with that cheating and lying. You seeking to vote when they telling our people now this is they hope, but did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass on? No. Oh, we've been getting this chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you get, and you showing for sure. It's the boy you neglecting, the thieves and the liars, they all in your section. I'm bringing my people a different direction. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. They must be crazy. Yo, so hit So none of my sisters and brothers is obvious. KRS ain't like these others. I've been out the bed while they under the covers. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not 3 and not 2, but the 1 is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer. With every year I get younger and younger, but someone to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets that the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy.
I'm telling you, yo, I'm telling you. Okay, so now I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, everything's good.
Okay, so I'm a little different now, but nonetheless, we made it pop. Shout out to G Simone. I'm on her computer right now. Like I was saying, we the teaching is in the lesson. The teaching is in the planning. In what it is we're actually doing here. I was talking a little bit, starting off a little bit about people not learning from their own mistakes, not learning from their like if a master teacher or someone who knows something and you don't know, but they know, so they come and they say ba ba ba. And you got the word right there, but you yourself didn't take heed to it. You're not, somehow it just goes in one ear and comes out the other. You're not taking the knowledge, making it part of yourself and advancing yourself with that knowledge. Most people, they have a ton of books, but none of it ever hits their soul. None of it ever matures their mind. They have the book, they read the book, they maybe even be able to quote, but their character doesn't change because of the book. They don't adopt what's going on. And this is the whole point, at least to a spiritual journey. I mean, there's a couple other journeys as well, where you have to change your being in order to achieve the success of the profession. You have to become something. Like, for instance, like a soldier in the military. You went in the military one way. You were 90 pounds. You know the story of Captain America. You went in 90 pounds, came out a super soldier. Well, that's the theme of the military as well. You go in you go in small and not knowing what to do. And by the time they finish with you, you're a Navy SEAL. By the time they finish with you, there's a character on you. There's a discipline on you that you now wield in the world itself. Those in the military, you know what it is. Those that, corporations tend to hire military people to lead their companies because of that structure that we're going to get it done. Let's go get this done. Now, artists, on the other hand, are the complete opposite. We're more laid back. We chilling. We'll get to it when we need to. Don't hassle me, man. It's about this piece, okay? And I'm chilling. You have to have that mentality to be a philosopher, constantly on edge, constantly fighting. It doesn't create the environment for philosophy or for art or for contemplation, the universe, astronomy, architecture, these things, even agriculture. You can't be trampling all over the garden, dude. You gotta, okay, there's a piece that has to happen for other things to happen. So I say all of this to say that you have to decide for yourself who you are. And don't judge yourself either on this. But the point is learning from the experiences that you are having, learning from them, really adding them to yourself like a new language. Like, I didn't know how to speak Spanish on Monday. I got this babble, and now I can speak Spanish on Friday. I've added to myself. I was 235 pounds in January. I'm 200 pounds in March. You know, I went from one thing to another. This is what we have to focus on, and this is what we're paying attention to. This is what it's really all about. This is what progress is really all about. Not just in your mind, you really doing the same old thing every day, but in your mind, you think you progressing. Nah, that's a syndrome that happens with the phone as well. Constantly looking at the phone, constantly, your likes, your dislikes, you called this one, you didn't call that one, send a text, send a this, send a that, da-da-da-da-da. That time you're spending so much time on that phone. You think in your mind you're going somewhere or doing something, but you're not. The only way you can really do something in physical reality is to do something in physical reality, not on the phone in virtual reality and then in your own mind. I'm hot. Why? Because I'm a what do they call these people? Influencers. I'm somebody now because I influence others through this medium. It's silly. When it comes to your real life, now influences are real, okay? There's a system there isn't, okay? But I'm talking about a higher level of living, even to influences. What are you influencing? Who are you influencing? Why are you influencing them? Is it just about vanity? Or are you really trying to help somebody? Is it just about look at me? Or is it really about let me impart some education to you that may help you in where you're going? What are we really doing? When do we pin it down? Well, that's what this lecture, this talk we're going to talk today, that's what this is really all about. I'm going to talk about some planning. We're going to read the gospel, different parts of the gospel, because the planning comes up, reading the planning, you'll see where it's backed up in the gospel of hip hop and how we have to stay consistent with our gospel. Because again, this is what we talked up. This is the affirmation that we have spoken of and spoken out. And those that are part of this study, you're part of that. You are actually part of real hip hop history. You should know that. And don't doubt it just because of wherever you are, and I'm wherever I am. No, there's no time or space. There's no distance when it comes to the truth. There's no distance. Actually, well, in quantum mechanics, there's no distance with anything. But in the scheme of philosophy and in the scheme of mind, there's no distance between me and you. I'm like you. You're like me. That's why we're on this call, because we agree that hip hop is more than the bullshit we seeing on TV and radio. Now, those that agree that that's what hip hop is, what we see on TV and radio, this call might not be for you. It's not something you're into. You wouldn't be into this type of language. It's just hip hop is not all that. It's not a big deal. It's just music. I listen to it and I want to hear the most raunchy stuff. I want to get away. Now I'll go to my real culture. When I get serious about myself, then I'll go to my real culture and I'll respect that. That's how hip hop is being treated today. We're not that. I'm making a distinction here. Those that have their cultures that they respect dearly, but come to our culture and bullshit, okay, and use it and exploit it and disrespect and disregard it, but go back to their cultures and say, yes, we have to revere our culture. You better respect my culture, but I don't have to have no respect for yours. And so the Temple of Hip Hop comes and says, oh no, we respect our culture straight up and down. And so are you going to respect our culture. We don't speak like this to our brothers and sisters who are already hip hop. I'm talking about those who are not hip hop, but like our music, like our dances, want to incorporate us in the Olympics and in other places, film and even government and so on. Everybody wants a piece of that hip hop, but who's being real with it though? Who's being true to it though? What institution is going to ensure that we don't lose sight of what we were originally? That's the Temple of Hip Hop right there. We're not chasing no money. We're not chasing no fame and vanity. We're not trying to say we on top of everybody or below anybody or this, that. No, there's a work that needs to get done. Hip hop is huge in the world. They're not just on some selling records thing, not being known. Okay, just being known. People know what hip hop is. Okay, we did a great thing in the world, y'all. Anybody who's part of this culture and have some standing in it as well, you are part of something great. And if you could just see it, if you could see how great your participation is in this thing we call hip hop, in this culture, in this community called hip hop, this global community, if you can't see that we need some discipline, we need some forgiveness. We need some teamwork. We need some camaraderie. This is what's going to help the world and help us at the same time. What else are we living for? What, to drink another? What? We'll eat something else? What do we really live? What does your life mean to you? What, a 9-to-5 job every day? 11 to 7? What? Just paying bills all day? That's your life? No, that's what you do in your life. What's your life? What's the meaning of you? Why are you breathing? What every time your heart goes boom, 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 what do you get out of that? Argument? Your lungs are so important. Your heart is so important, not just to your life. These are functioning beings. Heart, brain, intestines, small intestines. These are thinking beings in you. Okay, your brain is a thinking being. Okay, and it's not you. Okay, your heart is a thinking being, and it's not you. Small intestines, large intestines, your guts. This is another being in you, another consciousness. It's not you. Have you ever thought about putting yourself together? Back in the 60s, we used to say, get yourself together. Like when somebody was bugging and wilding out and doing some crazy, you say, man, get yourself together. Pull yourself together. You're fragmented. You're all over the place. Pull yourself together. Well, how do you do that? That's a spiritual path. That's a spiritual path. That's a psychological path. That's a philosophical path. The problems we face in society today. These problems are all spiritual and philosophical. That's why we have the problems, because people, so much in society, so many people in society was duped and I say this with all due respect. Hear my words, with all due respect to the Vatican and to that whole scene, Catholicism, beautiful religion. And I say that respectfully. I study it. Beautiful religion. What it was meant to be. That's the point. Everybody's veered off the path, and nobody can find the true word of God anymore, because the true word of God is not in a book. The true word of God is written on your heart. It's written in your character. It's your personality that gives off the true meaning of God. So when you got people with sexual misconduct, crimes against humanity, sanctioning Nazis and racism and slavery, and after about 200-300 years of that, people start to say, I don't believe God no more. What, these are the people that represent God? And I'm saying the Vatican because that's the culture we live in. But you could go down the line. I mean, look in the Islamic world, look in the Hindu world, look in the Buddhist world. The Dalai Lama was just on TV the other day. He was like, yo, did I just see him say, suck my tongue to some little boy they was in, all of these religions are toddling in a way, not understanding the minds of people. And big up to the Dalai Lama. I'm not saying, he had anything to do with anything stupid. But some of you may have heard the news, the article, or seen it somewhere, about that. And let me also admonish us as well to not be judging. We're talking about another culture where maybe that language and those acts that the Dalai Lama was putting forward was sacred to their culture. And I think it is. But in the Western culture, that's Eastern culture, Eastern Tibetan culture, learn first before you judge. But over here in the West, that didn't go over too well. And as smart as the Dalai Lama is, or as smart as, and he's very smart, very intelligent man. I've been to his lectures in person, and what he was laying down was nothing but the truth. But the way you look, the way you look, can also turn people off from God. They'll write you off, say, yeah, you just some bullshit, you just da-da-da-da. But they also write off God. They also write off spiritual living. They also write off the timeless principles that keep human beings together. Science can't do this. I should say science can't do this alone. Science is dope too. But too many people have been let down with that too. The racism in science, riddled with racism. So what is that? And people learn and they know it. They say, man, I ain't believing nothing these people say. We come from apes and trees, and the next week you're going to say this. It's not that now. It's this. It's not that now. No, it's this. A new discovery now. Then what is your knowledge really? What do you really know if every year you change what you said last year? No consistency in science. None. Science is all about experimentation. They keep looking for consistency, but still don't have none. And this is why the world is the way it is right now. You better hear hip hop talk for a minute. Okay. The world is the way it is right now because people are rebelling against God. They think God is the Christian God only. And that's where you got caught. You got caught in the Christian God is the only true God there is. And so when those people mess up, you say there is no God because you can't see God in nothing else. You only see God here. They mess up, and so God's out. But guess what? Now God is out of society. Just take the Christian 10 Commandments, or you should say the Judeo-Christian, Jewish Christian 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. You mean to tell me we can't see that in society because of some separation between church and state, misreading the documents too, and coming up with some, we got to keep church out of the state and the state out of the church, and da-da-da-da-da. Now look at your society. But no one's going to admit this. Everybody's just going to keep going with whatever they think their plan is, whatever they think is right for their group only. This is what we up against. No compromise. And it's not even about compromise. No truth. Once you know the truth, you ain't got to compromise. We both have two different opinions. But what's the truth? Your truth ain't a truth and my truth a truth. No, then that means they're facts. This is what happened to me. This is what occurred for me. And that's what occurred for you. Those are the facts. We can have all types of facts because that's what it is. But what's the truth? What is the absolute? What is the truth? And if we seek truth as opposed to what's in it for me, then you can cure all of society's ills and problems if you deal with the truth. But if you're not going to deal with the truth and we're going to deal with lies and liars, then gear up, ladies and gentlemen, gear up. Because then there is no fairness, there is no justice, there is no love, there is no charity, forgiveness, mercy. The people can't think like this. You can't even think like that because you're not in the environment of that. If you talking mercy, you're going to get canceled. You talking forgiveness, somebody might hit you in the head with a bottle because you talking forgiveness. You preaching love, somebody think they can steal from you, rob from you. I'm preaching love and peace and forgiveness. Dude, walk up. Yo, man, who you? Now I put the dude on this floor. Now he's on the floor, pool of blood. Damn, did it have to go? And people always wonder why Christianity was so violent. I tell you, some answers you don't get until you walk the path. Okay? Some answers you don't get until you actually are the one walking the path bearing your cross. And you walk and then you say, wow, now I understand what that means. Now I see why that went down like that. Now I can see, yeah, you could take a look at hip hop right now. And you can see for yourself how we rose, how not just hip hop, I'm talking about civilizations, how we all rose and how we all treated each other, how we all dealt with each other, how our parents dealt with each other, how our ancestors dealt with each other. It's the same game. We're doing the same things right now. It's just we're the new actors. We're the ones in the same seats. We're all here again. Now we got a chance to do it right now, y'all. We got another chance to do it right. That's what the prophet's supposed to tell you. That's what the philosopher's supposed to inform you with evidence. Yo, we got another chance to do it right. We back in the earth. We don't have to criticize our parents. We have to do better than that. Nature itself takes the best parts of us, of the parents, and gives it to the kid. The best parts, leave that bullshit behind, and takes the best parts of you and transforms it over to your children to move on. Even nature does that. We have to do the same. Criticizing your parents is stupidity. That means you don't understand life. Or you're not even giving them a chance to live life. Life is messy. Life is uncertain. Life is what life is. But if we're going to judge each other, put each other down, slander each other, nobody's going to get anywhere. And that's why nobody's getting anywhere. Take a look at hip hop. Just take a look at it. We all talking, but nobody's going anywhere. We're all online. We're all virtual. Nobody's using their organic intelligence. We're only using artificial intelligence. We want things to change in the real world, but the only thing we're doing is a phone. We're not doing anything in the real world. So the temple of hip hop keeps its sight. It keeps its eye open. We have to do things in the real world for the real world to change. The real world is not on a cell phone. The real world is the ground under your feet. The real world, actually, that's the real earth, the ground under your feet. The real world is human affairs. That's it. And there's a difference between the earth and the world. The earth is air, water, fire, dirt, rocks, atmosphere. That's the earth, okay? Earth is intelligent. Earth is plants. Earth is trees. Earth is the oceans and everything in it. Earth is the earth, the ground, lava, volcanoes, boom, spurting lava that turns into land and dirt and rocks and crystals and diamonds and all types of stuff, okay? That's the earth. But the world is only human affairs. The world is what humans are doing in the earth. The world. When you have earth knowledge, you rule the world. If you only have world knowledge, not only do you lack your earth knowledge, but you also only have the world to deal with, to go to. You have no other place to go. In your own mind or in your physical body, you have no place to go but what the world is telling you. And what does the world want? The world wants you to work to death. That's it. Work to death. Keep working until you die. That's what they want. They want workers. They don't want humans. Look at how the school system is set up. They don't want humans. They don't want better citizens. They want better workers. So if you're willing to go for that too, by the way, you know what I'm saying? 1989, I'm preaching stop the violence. Going into lectures, telling people, yo, when you get your receipt, your degree, you'll remember what it is I'm saying. People's minds opened up. A receipt, right? What am I doing? But did they actually leave the university and start a business? No. KRS-ONE was just good entertainment for that day. a tantalizing speaker that made you think about life in a new way. But my real culture, my real life, though, I'm going to continue to slave, though. I'm going to continue to just do this. Even though somebody's telling you, yo, G, in 4 years, you're going to be mad. Ah, man, who is he to tell me? Now, 20, 30 years later, housing market crashed. See, when I was growing up, kids today don't hear this bullshit no more. When I was growing up, it was like, if you don't go to college, you're never going to be anything. That's what we was told. If you don't have a house, you're nobody. If you don't own your house with a deed, you're nobody. You don't have nothing. You got to be a landowner. If you own your own business, invest in stocks, invest. This is what we was told. This is what we was told. But God told some of us something else. And some of us listened. God said, no, I am God. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to study this. Hip means to know. Hop is your movement. You are consciousness in action. And so is the material world. Get to transforming it. We said, oh, yes, Lord Jesus, Hindu, Krishna, Buddha, Tibet, whatever you are, whatever your name is, Muhammad, what does it say? Peace be unto his name. Now I want to get that right. These are the people that came and tried to tell us something. And what happened? Okay, they tried to come and tell us something. God comes in all these shapes and forms. If you can see it, Islam is dope. If you understand it, if you understand what it is. Islam is dope, and it's supposed to be sung to you. That's hardcore. But here comes another religion. That ain't nothing. Islam. I will never be no Muslim. Why? You're missing out on a whole different thing. Not a Muslim. Well, what is this Christianity? What is this Muslim? What is this Hinduism? Or actually, on a Muslim level, look at Satanism or Wicca or one of these. No. If you can't study Adam LaVey or the Satanist movement for what it is, how are you really a wise Muslim or a wise Christian or a wise Jew? Or otherwise, you don't know anything. All you know is what you know. All you know is your dogma. How is that a universal God even? Are you seeking religion or are you seeking God? And this is the point. Are you seeking your clique or are you seeking truth? Are you trying to make things better for everybody or are you trying to make things better just for yourself? These are the real questions that reveal your character, reveal what you're about. Religion is a culture. That's why as hip hoppers, we have to study all religions because all cultures are part of hip hop. So we have to know what our culture looks like. Hip hop don't look like me, African American, black male. No, that's not just what it is. Hip hop looks like a lot of people and it's shared by a lot of people. And these lot of people got to unite. And even though we may have differences in politics, our religion may be different, our jobs and professions may be different, we have to unite on some basic principles. The Temple of Hip Hop says, let us leave sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty. These are the pieces. These are the pieces that we argued for in our lectures and conferences over a 30-year period. I took all the notes, I recorded them. And so the reoccurring theme, sickness, hatred, ignorance, poverty. We called it the sinking ship. The sinking ship. Sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty. What then is the cure? The opposite. Sickness, health. Hatred, love. Ignorance, awareness. Poverty, wealth. How did we flip that? Sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty. We're going to replace that with health, love, awareness, and wealth, the H law. This is the only principles we really need. Say it. Say it. Health. You go against health, you're violating hip hop's laws, even unto yourself. If you're not trying to be healthy, you're violating your own law. You're violating your own physical laws, but you're also violating hip hop's actual laws because you don't want to be healthy. You don't want to take the time or the discipline or bring up the will to think, eat, drink healthy. How are you a citizen of a culture then? You're going to be sick and burden the culture? What are we doing? Sickness, hatred. We're going to hate. Too much of that going on in the world right now. You can't get nowhere with no hate. You can't get nowhere. And hate is self-destructive too, by the way. It's what causes sickness. And see, if you look at the sinking ship, this is not what I'm here to say even, but I'll say this to you real quick, is that sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty is in order too. It's a backwards order, but it's in order. Sickness. How do you get sick? Hating. Why are you hating? Because you ignorant. Why are you ignorant? Because you ain't got no money. Think about this. And you say, wait a minute, I don't need no money. No, slow down. Poverty causes ignorance. Causes it. Somebody robbed you and took all your goods, enslaved your ancestors for 300 years. And I'm talking about everybody, white, black, Native American, everybody. Enslaved for 300 years. You're in poverty. So in poverty, you can't afford to learn. And then on top of that, your life is about scrambling to eat and survive and get where you gotta go. You can't even, there's nothing you can, you're in poverty. Then the environment you're in, pushing you down. You might not even make it to 18. Most don't. You're in poverty. You're alone. You have no protection. This other group, this militarized group that calls themselves police, they could just come and do whatever they want to you. You have no representation, no protection, nothing. You're in poverty. Now look at it. Poverty keeps you in ignorance. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it. You don't know nothing. Keeps you in ignorance. Poverty keeps you in ignorance. That ignorance that you're in doesn't mature you. That's what ignorance is. It keeps you in a childlike state. It keeps you in a, you don't have nowhere else to go. In your mind, you have nowhere else to go. You're stuck with who you are, where you are, and you see no way out of that. That's called ignorance because you don't know any better. You don't see any better. Ignorance. That ignorance leads to hatred. Hatred of yourself first because you're ignorant and because you're poor. Hatred of yourself first, then hatred for everybody else that you see winning. Even those you don't see winning. You're just hating because the world has not treated you right. Why? Because you're ignorant. Why? Because you're impoverished. And why are you impoverished? Because of capitalism, because of colonialism, because of imperialism, racism, sexism, classism. No, you're being attacked. You're being attacked. And if you're going to sit there and act like you're not, then here we go now. So now you hating yourself, your situation, and everybody around you. That leads to the final blow. Sickness. Hate is self-destructive. Love is self-regenerative. You sitting here hating, harboring negative vibes and thoughts, splurting out stupid stuff about other people. Hate. Can't love another person. Can't see somebody else trying to get ahead and you're helping. No care in your heart. Nothing. That leads to sickness. You better hear me. That leads straight to sickness. And most sickness is caused by these elements: poverty, ignorance, and hate. And or hate, or ignorance, or poverty. In any one of them can make you sick. Take away your health. So what are we preaching? We're preaching health, love, awareness, and wealth. The H law, the only law that hip hop needs. That's it. Everything else can stem from this. All types of ordinances, techniques, and ethics, morals, and so on can all come from health, the pursuit of health, love, awareness, and wealth. That's it. This leads to peace and prosperity. This is why we are doing these elements. That's why we perform hip hop. That's why we're here right now, because we know how important the H law is. Health, love, awareness, and wealth. We know how important it is. We're living it. We're living it, and we're enjoying it as well. We're enjoying it. So we're sharing some of our wealth, which is our knowledge. We're sharing it with the public. We're sharing it. Now, we can share it with the public because only kings and queens, or should I say, only Negus Nagas and Kandake is going to hear this. Anyway, everybody else, I'm good entertainment, or I'm speaking Chinese. Okay, no disrespect to the Chinese in comparison to English. You don't know what I'm saying, is my point, okay? You don't have no idea what I'm saying. But some of you do. Some of you do understand what I'm saying. You get it. And you say, man, Chris, you know what? I hear this. I hear this, what you're saying right now. I am a citizen of a real hip-hop nation. Sure, I come from here, I come from there. I respect my traditions. I respect my parents. I respect my language. I respect who I am. But I know that I'm participating in a global event called hip hop. And I want this global event to expand and do more good in the world, help more people, save more souls and lives, open minds. That's what we want hip hop to do. We don't want hip hop sending people to prison. We don't want hip hop brothers and sisters getting shot in the street. We don't want hip hop locking us up. We don't want all that. We want health, love, awareness, and wealth. That's what we're aiming for. That's where we're going. Now, as I said, the lesson, the teaching is in the planning. So let me hit you with this real quick. I got these notes here. And I wrote that. Well, I'm gonna try to get through them because I was supposed to write these out and type them out. I didn't have no time. I just got in. I'm here, actually, like I started out and said, I'm here in Newark, New Jersey right now. We're getting ready. This is Hip-Hopia. I'm actually here. And what an amazing ride in that sense. I was talking to somebody. I might have said it on the call. I'll say it again here now if I didn't say it. But I was talking to someone, somebody with the temple. We was all together. And I had said, I realized that, and the realization is the work that we have to do with 1520 Sedgwick, the 1520 Community Center, their birthplace of hip hop, the work we have to do there, as well as the our temple at 55 Ludlow, the work that has to be done there. I said, I get it now, because when you walk the path, you get certain knowledge. So I said, I get it now. What do I get? Here's what I get. Here's the revelation. So I looked at the pyramids, and I looked at most of the ancient temples. And I looked at it and I said, man, you look at the architecture, you look at some of the paintings, if some have paintings on walls and stuff like this, and you think for a minute, you slow down and you become subjective. And you say, who really drew that? How did that actually get on the wall? We don't know how that, it looks like it was chiseled but do you really know and think with me on this for a minute, okay? Egyptian art is 3,000 years old, okay? I mean, it's actually older than that. It's like 10,000. But I'm talking about for 3,000 years before Christ, okay? Before BC, okay? 3,000 years BC. That's the Western way of dicing up time. Forgive me. But 3000 BC, the art did not change. Now think about this for a minute. For 5,000 to 3,000 years, Egyptian art remained exactly the way you see it. Egyptian art. These figures, the government art, I should say, the art on some of these pyramids, temples, tombs, etc. The art was the same for 5,000 years, 3,000 years, 1,000 years. Okay. The theories run like this. Either this was a school of art, meaning this is the way you draw this, because Egyptian hieroglyphs are made of characters, of people, and also birds and other symbols and stuff like that. So when you're approaching a civilization whose letters are drawings, the letters are people, the letters are beetles and snakes and birds. These are the letters. Okay. And I don't have enough time to get into that, because if you could read letters like birds and snakes and beetles and rocks and stuff, if these are letters to you, then what does nature look like? What is the language of, when you looked at nature, what did it say? And so here's the revelation, okay? Well, here's the theory. So let me run through the theories first. So one theory is that there was an Egyptian style of art that everybody who's the royal artist did this art, and they stayed consistent for 5,000 years, 3,000 years. That's ridiculous, but there's no way to explain how this art remains what it is, and everybody who draws new art draws it the same way that the previous artist did for 5,000 years. So some theorize that this was a school of artists, school of art, okay? I go further with asking about the letters that they were making were real things, okay? They were real things. So put that to the side. That's one theory. A school of art that says if you're the royal artist, this is how you're going to teach this. Okay, put that to the side. Now, theory number two. That Egyptians were about living forever. Immortality was the basis of why you wanted to be Osiris, why you wanted to be Heru, the Damager, why you wanted to be the God that was resurrected. We just went through Easter, okay? You wanted to be that. So you're dealing with a society that claims to have found the key to life, the Ark, the key to life. And they have found immortality, and the kings are the ones that can enjoy this immortality. Now, if you are immortal and you're able to remain on this planet, then you can draw something. It's the same artists then, or same group of artists that are immortal. Never died. 5,000 years they lived. Could you just, I know this is crazy because you say, Chris, this is not real. This is not, but this is the point. What we're living right now is not real. This is what the fake is. And the point to philosophy in the Western world is to find out what's real. But if you already think you know what's real, you're never going to know what's real. You're never going to find out what is real because you haven't emptied your mind of what you think is real. living for 5,000 years, living for 3,000 years, living for 1,000 years. What if the people back then lived that long, or some group of people lived that long? The original gods. What if they're still here now? What really keeps these countries in check? What governance is really keeping this country, this world in the way it is? Can you think of someone living, or some group of people living as immortals, always have lived? And why would they say anything to the world? They're immortal. They just have to make sure the world stays in some sort of order. That's it. Now, how can you, so go back to the Egyptian painting, 3,000 years, same art. Same thing with the cave paintings. I saw a movie, a documentary on Chauvet Cave. That's the name of it, Chauvet Cave. It's a French name. It's a French film. Chauvet Cave. They went in there, and they said this bison on the wall, this buffalo, something was on the wall, and they said, according to their research, first a bear came and clawed the area. Then somebody took the bear claws and made a picture out of it. You're not hearing me, okay? Then the picture was worked on for 3,000 years in a cave. So either there was one person that lived in this cave for 3,000 years and kept working on the sculpt, on the picture, or successive artists kept coming into the cave and touching up the piece as they saw for 3,000 years. Because that's how long this was. That's how long these paintings were worked on, and they could see the layers, how it was worked on, using red ochre and all type of charcoal and this type of thing. And there was living spaces too. And the living space showed levels of people coming there and so on. But it never showed whether it was the same person or different people. There was no evidence for this. So, you good? Okay, yeah. So I say that to say that think about this for a minute. Think about different realities. Stretch your mind out. If at least case you can stretch your mind over here. Okay, you don't have to believe in this stuff, but these are this is really what's happening, though. And if you don't have the time, say you poor in your mind, and which makes you poor in real life, so you ain't got time for archaeology. Archaeology is a rich man's game. That's rich people education. Or is it? They digging up your ancestors, digging up lands that were taken from you. So those are your ancestors in the ground. They digging them up. Ancestors left you jewels, gold, knowledge, everything in the ground. Grave robbers come, take up. They call archaeologists, but really they robbing graves. That's what they doing. And they call it archaeology. I mean, all due respect to archaeology, I'm not trying to diss, but let's be real. I got to speak the truth. The truth is you robbing people graves. You digging up sacred areas, places the ancestors said, don't go in this. This is sacred. Now today with that colonial mentality, dudes is all in the pyramids. You wasn't supposed to be in the pyramids. Dudes all up and down the Sphinx, all up in the temples, all up in the Isis temple, all up in, you would not, if these temples were working, you would not get in 100 miles of them. The people today would not even, and that's the point. That's why these temples were invaded, because this type of mentality couldn't get in. And they were so jealous and so envious of what they were seeing that they actually had to invade, rob, and kill. That's how wild it actually. Imagine how our ancestors really were then. For another group, and I'm not just talking about black and white, because first it was black and black. Okay, first it was Egypt robbing Kush. Okay, so imagine what the Kushites were like. They were richer than Egypt, more advanced than Egypt. Egypt is the Vandals running up on Kush, stealing people, gold, all of this. And then on top of that, even the names, Kush and Egypt, some would argue none of them names is right. It's really Ethiopia. And not even as a name, because that name ain't right. But who are these black people in Africa? And here's the revelation. Here's the revelation. I just gave you some theories, but here's the revelation, okay? So the pyramids of Giza, let's just use that as an example. So the pyramids of Giza go up. You say, wow, what a magnificent structure. Mathematically aligned to the earth, to the universe. Tons, 20-ton bricks laid like as if they were Legos, okay? Who did this? What mind, what people, what manpower, woman power, animal power, something did this. What is it? We're all there marveling at the Pyramid of Giza. I got the revelation. The revelation that came to me was the Pyramid of Giza had nothing to do with anything. Here it is. The Pyramid of Giza was an effect of a teaching. Here we go. The Western society, Western man says the pyramid was the end all be all. They planned it, they plotted it, and they built it for a reason. I argue that although the pyramid might have been built for a reason, it wasn't built. The reason it was, the reason that it was, no, not even a reason. How it was built, okay, how it was built had nothing to do with it being built. Follow me on this. There's a lesson that the teacher is teaching that has no, it ain't connected to no pyramid, but the lesson maybe in early engineering, early astronomy maybe, or something, how to use energy. There's another energy in our reality that this Western world doesn't know about. Tesla tapped into something, a couple other people tapped into free energy in the air, this kind of thing, okay? But our ancestors knew this. If Tesla can bring free energy out the air, so, okay, Nikola Tesla can pull energy out the air. You know these geniuses that built pyramids could do the same, if not greater things, okay? Open your mind. So the revelation was that the teacher was teaching, you know, the teacher gives a lesson, but the lesson, whatever is being imparted, is producing a pyramid. It's producing it. It's not that I'm going to teach you how to build a pyramid. That's not what we're doing. I'm going to teach you da, da, da. And while we're learning da, 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 pyramid forms. Something we're doing. How you get them 20-ton bricks? Something, was it telekinesis? I'm teaching you telekinesis. I'm teaching you how to move objects with your mind. So that's the building of the pyramid is not, and I'm using this as an example. I'm using telekinesis as an example. Saying, I'm teaching you telekinesis, how to move objects with your mind without touching them. You can move them. So I'm teaching this. But while we learn how to move objects with our mind, we build a pyramid. Move this brick here. Boom, it goes there. Do you feel the energy? Is it right? No, it's not right. Move it then to where it's right. Boom. Now you move it now to where it's right, where it feels right. Because that's what geometry does. That's what math is. It makes it, you know you're in harmony mathematically when you feel right. It feels right. That's what these buildings and the proportions and how these things are. There's energy and forces going through this right now. Weight is on this right now. So you got to distribute the weight, move the weight around. This is going to take this weight. That's going to take that weight. This is going to take this weight, so on and so on. Like, for instance, trying to get away from, say, predators, just lions all over eating people, and you trying to get away. But in you trying to get away from the lion eating, you develop the ability to run 40 miles an hour. Now, you wasn't trying to learn how to run 40 miles an hour, but this dude want to eat you. And if you don't get it up, if you can't run 40 miles an hour, you're getting eaten. So the lesson is not the 40 miles an hour, the result. Like, the lesson is not the result. The lesson is what caused the result. The lesson is, I don't want to get eaten. Not, I don't want to get eaten, so I've developed a 40-mile-an-hour sprint. I can run 40 miles an hour now. Why? Because I developed it because I don't want to get eaten. But most people just says, he runs 40 miles an hour. She runs 40 miles an hour. That's amazing. Wow, that's the end-all be-all. You ran 40 miles an hour. That's what it is. This is what it is. That's the end-all be-all. You run 40 miles an hour. No one ever asks you, how did you get that? What caused you to run 40 miles an hour? What? That's the interview later. That's the tell-all book. That's the autobiography or biography that tells you that part of the story. But right now, all we need to know is that you run 40 miles an hour. Well, the same thing with the pyramids as well, is that all we see is just the pyramid. And we say, well, it was used for this. Nobody knows what the pyramid is used for, okay, by the way. So they say, oh, it was used for this, oh, it was used for that, it was this. Everybody theorizing. Nobody know nothing, but they all theorizing. Oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, it's the other. It's the real issue is it had nothing to do with the pyramid. Think about the person who built that or the people building it. It had nothing to do with it. Maybe you had to move these bricks in your mind to worship your God. And everybody would come and move a brick every Sunday. We'd all put a brick up. And it got to the point where the thing just became a pyramid. And it's stories like that. Like simple stories like that. That's the truth. That is the truth. It's like not all this super, they came out the sky and ancient aliens and, they had to, none of that. I was teaching this lesson over here and we was learning something over here that caused this over here. And when I say I'm walking the path on that, because look at it. The way I realized it was the work at 1520, the work at 55 Ludlow. I took a look at that. I said, take a look at the work that we actually have to do. Take a look at the work that we actually have to do. Now, we've been reading our gospel for 2 years, okay? We've been reading and for some of us longer than that, okay? We've been reading our gospel for years, okay? We're not, matter of fact, the gospel of hip-hop says the temple of hip-hop is not a physical place, okay? Keep it real with me right now. Temple of hip-hop is not a physical place. I said we will have physical places, but the temple of hip-hop itself is a society. Ministry, archive, school, society. Okay, this is where this is the core of it. Okay. So what do? We read our gospel and we put our visualization in this hip-hopia, the temple of hip-hop, hip-hop's preservation. We put our visualization this way. So while we are being hip-hop, the temple manifests. Now, to some people, they'll say they sat down and planned for this temple of hip-hop. They sat down and they planned for the temple of hip-hop. And there's the building. And so when the building is beautified, they'll just say, they'll say, you know, that is the end all be all. The Temple of Hip Hop, they acquired it in the year 2023, and they beautified it, they built it, and that's what we teach the courses out of, so on. So it's about the Temple of Hip Hop. That's what it's about. No, it's not. The awareness is, and those that read this gospel with me, you know this. The point was never a building for the Temple of Hip Hop. It was about the preservation of hip hop. The point was always appreciation for hip hop, preservation of hip hop, establishment of hip hop, principles for hip hop. Let us become hip hop. I am hip hop. Let's get serious about hip hop. That was the point. Now, with that point, now the temple rises because of this point. With this point, the temple now rises. The building, the edifice now rises. With this point, preservation, so on. Now we are managing 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. Now, because 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx wasn't the point. The point was preservation of hip hop. So as we teach the preservation of hip hop lesson, 1520 pops up. 55 Ludlow pops up. Weekway, which is now going to be called Hip Hopia, pops up. So look at this, and this is the lesson. This is part of the lesson. That real knowledge, your cause, whatever your cause is, has effects. Don't get caught up so much in the effects. Stay on the cause. The cause is causing these effects. But you got to know the difference between the cause and the effect. Now, we know that the Temple of Hip Hop is there and we're going to do our thing. We know 1520 is there. And even after the 50th anniversary, we're still going to be at 1520 doing our thing, teaching out of there. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes too. We know this, but that's not the point. If the whole 50th, God forbid, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue burns down or something happens where it's incapacitated, okay, the cause remains preservation of hip hop, expansion of hip hop as a divinely guided culture of peace and prosperity. Cause don't change. The effects may come and go, but the cause is eternal. The cause is timeless. The cause cannot be touched, cannot be smelt. So just know that as well. And I got that revelation. Then I realized that the pyramids and other temples, it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the lesson that was being taught. And that was the manifestation of the lesson. So the real jewel of this manifestation is to know the knowledge that was being taught, to make it. And I'm saying to you, the knowledge that brought us to the Temple of Hip Hop at 55 Ludlow and the knowledge that brought us to 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx is what is important. Not these specific. Now, of course, these places are important. Matter of fact, let me start talking about that because I'm speaking from a very philosophical level here. Let me come a little bit out of that and come down to the importance of these specific places, okay, and what they mean to hip hop. Let's go over our schedule. Let's go over the schedule, and this is going to cause you grab your gospel. It's going to cause us to read some of the gospel of hip hop as well. Let me, I think I should get a water. Hold up. Okay. Hold on a second, y'all. All right, I'm good. Okay. So, let me just wipe my glasses off one more time on this. Hold on. Sorry. So, while I wipe my glasses off here, shout out to Shirt Kings. for making my hip hop 50. Hip hop 50. No doubt. Let me read these notes to you real quick. Go over this. So April 15th is tax day, just so y'all know. April 15th is tax day all over the world, but I think it's on a weekend. And I mention that because, a lot of us, we try to avoid taxes and stuff like that. I advise you to get your tax game together. There's a lot of great programs they got actually going on. A lot of great programs going on with the taxes. You can, if you owe back taxes and stuff like that, a lot of great programs going on. I'm hearing about them myself. I've went through a few of them myself as well. And we're always paying some kind of tax on something, so on. So I'm in that mode right now, paying taxes, putting out, all these forms. And so I'm thinking W-9, the 1080 and all of this type of stuff, and so on. Get a good tax person.
18th.
No, the 18th is when it is now, because the 15th is a weekend. But the tax day is usually the 15th. But right, no, but thanks for that. It's the 18th. They moved it. They did move it. Right, I guess it's that first, whatever it is, actually. But usually, traditionally, tax day is the 15th. But no, it's the 18th this year. So make sure you get your taxes together as well. And don't try to avoid taxes. And from a spiritual point of view, and you say, what the hell is taxes got to do with spirituality? Well, actually, from a Christian point of view, Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar and give to God what is God's. Don't confuse the two. When he was asked about the tax question as well, you might want to find that in the Bible and read the whole passage, what was meant, implied by that. But I say this to say, from a spiritual point of view, you want to give your part. If you are an American citizen, and in terms of hip hop, if you're an American citizen, hip hop, and you participate in hip hop, you're a hip hop American. If you are a hip hop American, I advise you to pay your taxes. I don't work for the IRS. My name is KRS. Okay, I don't work for the IRS. They didn't put me up to this. There's nothing. Okay, I'm just saying from a spiritual point of view, and even from the point of view of us raising our own community up. If you have a mentality that's trying to avoid taxes or avoid participating financially in your community, then you're going to do the same to us too, and you're probably doing the same to something you're part of. So I say, let's mature from that right now. Let's mature from that and realize the importance of paying taxes or paying dues, I would even say, for those that pay their dues to the Temple of Hip Hop. I'm thanking you on that, and I'll get to that later, but your name is going up on the wall of the Temple of Hip Hop for people to see forever. Your children's children will come and see your name up there. Real talk. And so the mentality of a person that pays dues, the mentality of a person who contributes to the community and financially, contribute to the community. These are the type of people that build the community for real. Everybody else is talking. Everybody else may love the community. Everybody else may, this and that. But if you don't have a charitable heart, if you don't have, and again, we're going to read charity, perform charity today as well. If you don't have a charitable heart, if you can't give, if you don't have a wealthy mentality, then nation building is not for you. It's just not for you. I'm talking to nation builders. I'm talking to people that can see hip hop more than a music genre. In that sense, we got to put our money where our mouth is and where our bodies are. We have to spend for what we want. And I have no problem spending for what I want, straight up and down. I want hip hop's preservation. I have no problem spending my money on hip hop's preservation. And so for those that are interested in this type of movement, cause, so to speak, you should have no problem either putting your money forward. And again, Temple of Hip Hop, we are strong because of you. straight up. Those dues paying members that pay regularly and pay heftily too, because we only say $100 a month, but some of y'all kicking down G's, and we appreciate that. That's what makes us strong. This is what's giving us our independence, our financial independence, is you, basically us, putting in our own pot. So I say all of this to say that, it's tax day, and, let us develop a mentality that wants to give to its community. You live in the United States, pay your taxes. The taxes are high too. The US be dissing, okay? Straight up, gun to the head. It's called a pen. And they're just writing down numbers, okay? The taxes are too high in the United States, especially for small businesses like me. No, these taxes are too high. The tax code is crazy. The whole idea of the rich not paying no tax and the poor man gotta pay, it's all crazy. If we all did pay our fair share, this country would be a lot better. The roads will be better, things will be better. But again, we don't even live in a civilization. I say that respectfully, but we don't live in a real civilization where people care about their community, care about their neighborhood, that's what it is. And that's what we gotta teach. That's what we got to teach. Hip hop has to rise up and be mature and say, no, we're going to clean up our neighborhood. We're going to be a crimeless society. We're going to clean up our neighborhood and we're going to love one another. That's what it's going to be. And we got to rise to that. And that's why the Temple of Hip Hop exists, because we're going to teach it straight up. So it's tax day, April 15th. As someone just reminded us, April 18th. Make sure you have your taxes in, at least file. Make sure you file, because that's what causes all the problems when you don't file. File your taxes. Send them something. As long as you're paying something or filing something, you ain't got a problem with the IRS like that. But my point, though, is on tax day, let us think about support for community, not just the United States community. We use the roads, we use the fire department, the police department, the this, that, and the other. Well, come on, pay your taxes and enjoy the country. Get a different view of citizenship. And you do get a different view of citizenship when you got to pay. And that's probably why I talk the way I talk, because I'm paying for America to exist. And so it's but you also get a dignity with that as well. You also get a dignity. And that's what we're teaching with hip hop. We need a hip hop citizenry. And if you can't put real money to your own nation, to your own community, something that's benefiting you or will benefit you or has benefited you, if you can't put no money into that, now come on, man. I mean, that's just an immaturity that we all have to get past if we're suffering from it. April 15th is also the due date for the graffiti art. Those of you that were there with us at the Tats crew, we were with the Tats crew at the point. We was at the point there. Shout out to Desire. Desire, I got a call coming into you as well this week. I just got into Newark, like I said. Tomorrow starts the party. I got a call going in to you. You and I got to talk as well. I know some artists have finished their pieces as well, and others need more time. But at the meeting that we had at the Tats crew at the point with those 30 some odd artists, April 15th was the due date. So we're past that now. We're passing that, and we need to get on that now. The art is coming in now for the exhibit. The art is coming in for the exhibit and for the temple as well. Just so you guys know, the theme of the art as well is that we're commissioning 50 pieces. 50 pieces. Now, mind you, I'm saying this on this call right now so that others can join in on this. Just because you wasn't at the meeting at the point doesn't mean that you can't join in on this. Although I did say at the point, with the Tats crew and some 30 other artists, that we only needed 50 pieces and we had like 30 artists. But this is not an issue where I'm going to turn any art away. I'm not going to talk about the financial compensation here in this forum, but you can definitely find out. You can either hit Desire or just talk to somebody who was there, and so on. It's a very simple arrangement we had planned. But let me explain the theme. The theme, if you want to get involved with this, we're commissioning artists to create the missing themes of hip hop, the missing portraits, the missing photographs of hip hop. The point is, hip hop has events that we all know about. We all know about these events. We talk about them, we rhyme about them. We all know about these events, but there's no photographs for them. There's no accurate, photograph for these events. So what we're doing is having graffiti writers recreate the event on canvas, create portraits of these events, like Kool Herc, first coming into 1520 Community Center, August 11, 1973. There's no photograph of that, at least we can't find it. And teachers don't have access to it. We have to create a painting based on history that teachers can teach from. So, not only is it just Kool Herc, like, in other words, even if we had a photo, this painting will be better for teaching. So it's like you show Herc, you show Cindy, you show Coke Rock, you show Timmy, you can get their faces online or so on. Or you could have people that may resemble that this is what they, you could turn somebody on the back and put on the back of their jacket, Timmy Tim, but no face. Clark Kent with a side view, or something like that, if you don't get the faces, so on. Same thing with hip hop, like for instance, so Kool Herc is playing Apache. So we have to have the Apache record on the turntable if we're showing the turntable. And maybe in his crate of records or whatever, you see the incredible bongo band record there. Of course, there's James Brown. You see that. But we may go further and have some other records that, that Herc also played, Sly and the Family Stone, others and so on, just on the side as well. We'll show there at 1520, young kids. This is how hip hop starts. I was 8, okay, when hip hop started, and I was immersed in the block. I was on the block, okay, at 8 years old, okay. So we got to show those I wasn't in 1520, but we got to show those little kids, those kids that were in the community center, in the park. When Kool Herc goes out to the park, no photographs. We need that. Other things like the 2 Live Crew winning an obscenity case in Florida, which really kind of protected all of hip hop on that First Amendment deal.
There actually is pictures of that. I found it.
Of what?
Of Luke.
Yeah,
Court.
No doubt. I kind of figured there were photos somewhere of that in particular, but again, is it the 3 of them in front of the judge?
No, it's just Luke.
It's just Luke. No, I know. It's just Luke. Yeah. And you know what, too? That photo is important. We'll actually dig that up. But this is precisely what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is the portrait will be better than the photo. Because the portrait, the drawn portrait, is going to tell the history within this portrait, and so on. So we got 50 of these, okay, that we're looking. We're probably going to have 100, but we got 50 of them. We got 50 of these right now. Not right now. They're being made right now. 50 of them. So I say this to say that if you want to join in and you know of a memorable moment in hip hop that everybody knows of, but it doesn't have a photograph. Or if it has a photograph, the photograph is not a teachable photograph. It's not, we want to tell the story of why this moment was important. This includes battles as well. KRS versus MC Shan. There's no portrait of that. There's no photographs of that. Marley Marl and Mr. Magic at WBLS, there gotta be photos of that. But again, from a historical point of view, Red Alert and what Kiss FM meant and all of that, and that's just the music side. Take it to breaking, take it to graffiti art itself, take it to DJing itself and beatboxing and our fashion and how we spoke and all of this type of stuff. They don't have photographs. We have to recreate these photographs in our graffiti art style. And so we're doing that. But April 15th was the cutoff date for these artists. So we're going to go and find out who has actually met their actual time. Obviously, as you know, April 20th is Cannabis Day. Hey, April 20th, Cannabis Day. And there's nothing else to say. That's just what it is. But wait, there is something to say. Something to say on that Cannabis Day. Obviously, what I'm saying here may not matter to young people. Cannabis, marijuana being legal in New York. Now, for some of you, you might say, so what? It's legal in New York. Okay, so it's legal in a lot of places. But let me take you back to a time, okay? Us old heads, we remember a time, okay, where for one stick of herb, one joint, you could see 5 years. 5 years in prison for a joint. Think about this. So many lives ruined. So many great minds ruined, just smoking a spliff. Cop roll up, woo, woo, yo. Now you in the system for a herb? For something to grow out the ground? Like what? This is how unfair the system was to us in particular. Let me shout my Native American brothers and sisters as well. Totally just trying to criminalize everything about us, okay? Everything about us. Hip hop said, first it was reggae. Shout out to Peter Tosh. Shout out to Bob Marley. Shout out to the Wailers, okay? That they were at the forefront for the world. And Bob Marley ain't just about smoking weed. Let me be clear with that too. The brother is way deeper than smoking some weed, okay? But Bob Marley and Peter Tosh in particular were big advocates for the legalization of marijuana. And they was even saying it when it was ridiculous. Like, what do you mean legalization? You stupid, it'll never happen. They put it in their songs, they sang about it. And of course, a lot of artists advocated for this. But Bob Marley became like the poster boy for like the legalization of marijuana, all type of legendary stories with Bob, okay, smoking with the Queen of England and running up one time. I mean, legends, okay? I don't know how true anything is, but these were the legendary stories. Peter Tosh as well, Bob's friend for many years, so on. Big herbs man himself, and so on. He was down with Normal back in the days. I had a Peter Tosh album where at the end of the album, Normal came on, for the legalization of marijuana, and they had a little message and shit, like right on the Peter Tosh album. It was dope what they were doing, advocating for the legalization of marijuana. That's been a long time coming. Let's say this last part too, on the prophecy side, on the spiritual side, I'm bringing it right there too. So you got Nas, the prophet Nas, who says, imagine walking down the street smoking weed with no cops harassing. Yeah, that used to be a line. Him and Lauryn Hill did a record called If I Rule the World. Imagine that. I free all my sons. I love him, baby. Stupid. Record was critical to hip hop's growth and development. Okay. That was the bomb. Lauryn Hill, shout out to you. Nas, shout out to you. But Nas is a prophet in the sense that he said, if I ruled the world, you could imagine, he said, imagine the world that we would create. Not only did he say, if I ruled the world, him and Lauryn ruled the world, this is what they would be doing. But he was speaking for hip hop, though. He was speaking for hip hop. And he said, if hip hop ruled the world, this is a hip hop artist, this is somebody we respect in the culture saying, if I ruled the world, here's what would be going down. He said, imagine puffing weed, walking down the street smoking weed with no cops harassing. And I may be mixing the lyric up a little bit, but this is the gist of it. Imagine walking down, and he said, imagine, because it was so ridiculous. Like when Nas said that, it didn't make no sense. It made no sense. You know, it made no sense. It's like when Biggie said, now I'm getting paid, blow up like the World Trade. The World Trade had a small explosion. Then everybody said, oh, somebody just tried to bust a bomb off at the World Trade. It wasn't no big deal. I mean, it was a big deal, but it wasn't like 9/11. The whole structure came down, okay? Now, they were censoring Biggie's lyrics now. You can't, some of these lyrics is like, blow up like the World Trade. They censored the first one, and now they censor, like, it's a double censor on it because the words are prophetic. Hip hop got to recognize itself in this way. Nas said, imagine walking down the street smoking weed with no cops harassing. Imagine. Because it was unimaginable. And especially in New York, it was unimaginable. Nas said, imagine this. Now it's true. Somebody should hand Nas not only a spliff, but also a plaque. Maybe the temple will do it, because that was prophecy right there. And if those of us that do recognize spirit do not say that, do not recognize that, it just goes right by. And no, there's that ignorance again, coming out of poverty again, leading to hatred again, this is what it is. So we admonish you, hey, push your head over here. It is Cannabis Day, 4/20, April 20th. But as hip hoppers, let us focus then on that day on the prophecy that Nas put forward. He said, imagine smoking weed, walking down the street, smoking weed with no cops harassing. Now, when he said it, it wasn't true. It couldn't happen. Years later, it happened. He don't get credit for saying that? Yes, he does. And the temple writing it down. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes. Because with the power of your imagination, you can change laws. You're not hearing me. With the power of your imagination, before the law changes, before you go out protesting to change the laws, change your mind. Be able to see the law changing and start acting accordingly. And you will see changes. We are reality makers, ladies and gentlemen. That's what hip hop is. It's a reality maker. It is the thing that God gave us to change our situation, to change our condition. What a great gift to be able to change reality. What problems do you have if you could change your reality? What? Then nothing's a problem, because you can just change. Whatever is perceived as a problem can be unperceived and perceived into your victory. That's the work of the gods. You coming with hate, I'm coming with love, and I'm transforming you. Your hate is not more powerful than my love. Your theft is not more powerful than my charity. You can't steal from somebody who's giving you. We'll get back to that. The point is recognize the prophecy in hip hop. Recognize what we can do with a collective mind, with a collective thought. Okay, keep in mind too, others can't take credit for this. Sure, those who worked on the front lines, there's a lot of behind the scenes people that got marijuana legalized. That's its own thing, and they should be writing their own books and having stuff so we can know who these behind the scenes people really were. But in terms of the public and in terms of world history, it was hip hop that was attacked the most. Even Jamaicans and reggae and the Rastafarian, even that was protected under freedom of religion. So cops wasn't really running up on Rastafarians really, because you wasn't going nowhere with that. You could arrest them and try to harass them, but the minute they get to court, just throwing the case out, he a Rasta. That's what they do. They smoke weed. It's a sacrament. We all know it. It's all what it is. So freedom of religion, they were going to get off anyway, and they did. Reggae been having huge weed festivals, okay, with the cops smelling it right there, and there's nothing that they could do. It's a festival, okay? But hip-hop, nah, they were coming down on us. We didn't have no freedom of religion protecting us. We didn't have none of that. They was just dissing. And that's why when Nas says smoking weed with cops harassing, and big up to all the weed them song, all the weed mind, everybody, okay, every song. I got 5 on it, got it. The whole Chronic album, okay, 1 and 2. Shout out to Channel Live, Sparking Madism, okay, big up to Mad Lion, all day. These are the advocates. These were the advocates when weed was illegal, and you had to speak up in order for your concerns to be heard. And of course, now it's legal. Now it's legal, and this is what it is. So big up to Cannabis Day. I'll say that. And by the way, that record, If I Rule the World, was by Curtis Blow. The original was by my good friend, Curtis Blow, HHA, Hip Hop Alliance. Curtis Blow, If I Rule the World, and Nas and Lauryn Hill redid it and had you thinking in your mind that you could walk down the street smoking weed with no cops harassing. And now you can. That's a victory for hip hop, and don't forget it. April 22nd is Earth Day. Respect for the earth. And not just because it's April 22nd. You got to respect the earth all year round. You know that. Respect the earth all year round. Can I just grab your gospel real quick? This is going to be the beginning of some of our readings. Grab your gospel real quick. Turn to page 557. Page 557. We're reading from the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. We're reading from the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace, which is in the Gospel of Hip Hop. Remember, the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace is the only legal document which declares hip hop a culture. The Hip Hop Declaration of Peace was established May 16, 2001 at the United Nations headquarters in New York. 300 hip hop pioneers, journalists, executives, delegates from around the world, all claiming hip hop, signed the document. Cool DJ Herc was there. He signed the document first. Zulu Nation was there. Shout out to Pop Master Fables. Cindy was there as well, with Herc as well, and a whole host of others. Chuck D, obviously, and the usual suspects. We were all in the room and signed this document called the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. And we declared ourselves an international culture of peace and prosperity. That document is backed up by proclamations, city citations, et cetera, recognizing hip hop as culture. I got you right now on page 557 of the Gospel of Hip Hop because I just want to read into the record the 15th principle. The 15th principle. This is for Earth Day. And this is also to remember that although we celebrate Earth Day on the 22nd, Earth Day, April 22nd, which is respect for the Earth, this kind of mentality is written into our principles. You see, like when Dr. King's birthday come around, when January 15th come around, everybody becomes Dr. King, or we could remember him just for that one day. And it's fine, that's his day, that's the day. But Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech is all year round if you're dealing with hip hop. If you're really dealing with hip hop in a serious way, Dr. King's speech is your character. This is the total, this is what it is. It's not the only part of your character, but it damn sure is the lead part of your character. I Have a Dream speech is definitely that. But I mention that because others may remember Dr. King only on January 15th. Fine, that's his day. But if you are a hip hop scholar, Dr. King is every day for you. That's why we got the gospel. That's why his speech is in the gospel of hip hop. That's why so when we read in the gospel any time of the year, we referring to that speech. There's all types of things in that speech that refer to us. That's why we refer to it. For everybody else, it's a speech by a great man. For us, it's instructions. So this is the same thing here with Principle 15. For us, respect for the earth is not an Earth Day thing. Sure, you get a day to say, let's just recognize the earth one day. Okay, for one out of the 365 days, let's just recognize the earth one day. But in that one day of recognizing the earth, you got to realize recognizing the earth is a 365-day mission. Okay, Earth Day is the acknowledgement because we do these types of things, holidays, holy months, so on, and holy months, and so on, and holy days. But you know what it is. It's all year round. Let's read the 15th principle now. 15th principle. Hip hop is respect and learn from the ways of nature. Regardless of where we are on this planet, hip hop culture holds sacred our duty to contribute to our own survival as independent, free-thinking beings in and throughout the universe. This planet, commonly known as Earth, is our nurturing parent, and hip-hoppers are encouraged to respect nature and all creations and inhabitants of nature. That's us. See this last part again? This planet, commonly known as Earth, is our nurturing parent. And hip-hoppers are encouraged to respect nature and all creations and inhabitants of nature. Try not to kill so much. Try not to kill insects or just haphazardly break limbs off trees. Discipline yourself to allow things to live around you too, especially if they're not harming you. You know, mosquitoes get killed because they try to take your blood. And in nature, the rules of nature is if I'm sleeping, I'm a sucker because I'm sleeping, you get to land on me and suck my blood out of me. But if I see you landing on me and you get ready to stick something in me and suck my blood, I have all the right to go, pow, you're out of here, okay? All the right. If something's not attacked, if something is attacking you, nature gives us all the right to end its life. Simple and plain. Everyone has that right to defend themselves even to death, okay? But something got to be attacking you first. You can't just be killing. Okay, something got to be attacking you first. At least that's the more civilized, the more higher level of living if you look at nature in that way. Everything in nature ain't kill and eat. Some things in nature are very cooperative. A lot in nature is very cooperative amongst different species even of animals and so on. They have another language they speak in, completely different. So we respect nature. And that was the point for actually reading that, respect for nature, because we're coming up on Earth Day and hip hop is pay attention, respect the earth. It's important. It's in our principles. It's part of who we are. April 25th, we're doing a press conference April 25th, we're doing a press conference at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. You guys will remember we did the 49th birthday of the Bronx. We did it at 1520 and announced the 50th anniversary there from 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Remember that if you are celebrating hip hop's 50th anniversary, that means you're starting in 1973. And if you're starting in 1973, that means you're starting with Kool Herc at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. So this is the most sacred space, not only for hip hop globally, but for August 11th and for this year. August 11th, this year, 1520 lights up. It lights up. What we want to do is put an exhibit into 1520, which tells the history of hip hop over 50 years, not the whole history, a brief history of hip hop in chunks of 10-year chunks, but very informative 10-year chunks. We want to put an exhibit in there with that, and of course, flanked by artwork all throughout the 1520 Sedgwick Avenue within the community center and in the foyer area. We will be asking for crowdfunding on that as well. We'll be asking for grants and stuff like this, but really the crowdfunding is where we're really going with it, because again, not only is it a source of money to create the exhibit, but we need that community support. We don't just want to grab a loan or grab something from some private donor, although we will take that too. But it's not really about a private donor just satisfying our financial needs. It's really about the community of hip hop coming together and participating in its own history. That's what this is really about, that hip hop has to participate in its own history. And if you want to be part of hip hop's actual history, participate. Not just financially, but whatever, especially if you Temple of Hip Hop, there's all types of volunteerships you can get involved with. We need your help. We could use the person there. We got a lot we got to do. So, volunteering is a big plus for us. And the Temple, how we do our thing. Everybody comes out and supports. We've done great events. And people have praised us for our events as well. Told us we was organized, well put together. We're not beefing with nobody. We come in, we get the job done, and we leave. This has been our reputation. This is the Temple's reputation. People can't say the Temple came somewhere and was fighting and that's acting stupid. No, the Temple came somewhere, and this was the result of it, and so on. So April 25th, we're having a press conference at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. I'm going to be talking about everybody who's involved. Let me just hit you with that real quick. I'll give you a real quick. You're getting exclusive information here before the press conference. Obviously, the press conference will be more extensive, but as you know, we're working with Chuck D's advertising and graphics company called Mad Urgency. They put together an amazing online situation for us. As you know, a week or two before August 11th, we go online. You might be able to see Temple members, obviously dues-paying Temple members will be able to see all of this before anybody. In that sense, it's one of the privileges of paying dues. You know what it is. So, but you'll be getting that preview before anybody. But Mad Urgency is giving us the tech ability for you to be able to see all this on your phone, see a virtual museum where you can walk through, click on stuff, get information, this kind of thing. So there'll be a virtual part to our exhibit, which Mad Urgency is putting together. Our actual props and the beautifying of the space to make it look museum-like, really like Disney World, to be honest with you, like hip-hop Disney World. That's what I'm aiming for in that sense. And not stupid like Disney. There's gonna be no Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. But the materials that they use to theme their park is the materials we're gonna use to theme hip-hop. So you'll walk in and you'll see B-boys, and you'll walk into entrances where B-boys and B-girls are letting you in, and big spray cans and microphones and the elements of hip hop laid out in an actual piece, some sort of piece that we have carpenters and all type of people working in that sense. So that company is called Props to C. That's PROPS, a 2 and a C. Props to C. Their work is amazing. Maybe they're online. You might be able to go look at their work, but they're working with us as well to do the actual inside of the community center and the foyer area. Obviously, we got the tax crew. They're the ones doing the 50 paintings. They're not doing all of them, but they're the overseers of these 50 paintings getting created of hip hop's missing events, portraits of hip hop's events. We have Bradford Brown. Bradford Brown is right now at 55 Ludlow Temple of Hip Hop. When it was the Trek Center, they already had art in the building. God is so precise that they already had art in the building, already had Aretha Franklin on the wall, already had George Clinton, and a Biggie was already on the wall before we even got there. We got there. I saw the art. I love the art. It's unique art too, which is what I'm looking for. Uniqueness in art. Why you come into any of our exhibits and what you can see anywhere else or see online. No, you come to the exhibit and you see something exquisite, something you've never seen before, and it blows your mind. That's what we're looking for our exhibit, both at the Temple and at 1520. Because remember, the Temple of Hip Hop's exhibit, which is called Hip Hop 50 Years, that is going to be crazy. Okay, that's going to be crazy. We're using the same title, similar. The title may change at 1520 because 1520 is becoming its own thing. But Hip Hop 50 Years is what the Temple's doing. In our building, we're going to lay out a hip hop exhibit at the Temple of Hip Hop, but that's later on. Right now we're focused on 1520 and getting that together because that's August 11th right there, and we want hip hoppers to be able to come home. We want hip hoppers to be able to come home. That is the Bradford Brown gallery. Bradford, my good friend Bradford. He's the artist that does this. He's doing a portrait of me. He's doing a portrait of Herc, Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Caz. I have him doing 10. So we're going to put a list together of people, but the first couple he's working on are the people who I want to honor right then and there. He's making the one of me. He's insisting that he does KRS-ONE. Don't get it twisted. I'm not, saying like that. And I might not even put mine up actually at 1520. Mine may go in the Temple, to be honest with you. But he's doing Herc, which will go into 1520. He may actually do Cindy as well, which will go into 1520. People like Caz, who does the tours, he'll put them in there as well. This kind of thing. So we'll figure out who goes in 1520 and who comes to the Temple of Hip Hop. But all of his pieces are eventually probably going to wind up at the Temple of Hip Hop because 1520 its theme is going to change as well as we go forward. So that's Bradford Brown. We're also possibly, if he's finished, I will reveal the Herc version of his art at 1520 at this press conference. So I want to woo the press with a revealing of the style of art that we're going to be coming with for them to get a whiff of it. There's this cool Herc, reveal that, and discuss the history and so on right there at 1520. So that's Bradford Brown in terms of artists. This is all the press conference. We're talking about the status of the exhibit, and I'm running through the artists and the people that are participating in the creation of the exhibit. Mad Urgency is the online version of the exhibit. Props to C is the internal construction of the space, the 1520 space. Bradford Brown is part of the art, part of the artist whose art will be on the wall. Tax Crew is doing the 50 paintings or governing the creation of these 50 paintings that are going to they exemplify hip hop's missing moments, missing photographic moments. Last but not least, in this press conference, April 25th, we'll be talking about, we'll talk about fundraising, crowdfunding and fundraising. I'll be talking about where grant writers can actually put their grants, or who to write them to. And also, we're dealing with 1881 Productions. That's 1881 Productions for our crowdfunding. This company is going to lead us through the crowdfunding maze and get us the money we need. We're looking to raise about $350,000. We're being asked to raise $500,000, but we really need about $350,000 to get the whole thing going and get it right. So we're going to raise that money in crowdfunding, and then the rest in private donating and so on like that. Obviously, I will be calling on the Temple of Hip Hop. If you could do anything to meet that number or add to that number, or people who would like to help us in this situation, now's the time. And be part of hip hop's real history. We're building real edifices. We're not looking at a phone. Okay, we're building a real edifice in the real world. And I'd like to put your real name on those edifices because I really appreciate anybody coming. You heard my speech before, okay? You come in with your cash. I really appreciate that because that's not what this is about whatsoever. It's not about that. I'll work for mine. I have a lot of friends as well that might even want to give to this cause. But if the community itself does not want to contribute to itself, then that's going to show us something too. We want the truth, okay? We want to know what it is. So if only a few of us get together and make this happen, then that's the real community. That's the real, or at least when we called on the community, these are the people who showed up, and they will go down in history forever. Remember, we are making hip hop's history. It's going down right now. So at this press conference, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about also KRS-ONE coming home. I'm doing this kind of a homecoming kind of thing. I lived at 1600 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, 8 years old when Herc came out with his sound system and so on. Now I'm walking down 2 buildings down 50 years later. It took me 50 years to walk 2 buildings down to 1520. I have an apartment. I purchased an apartment at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Yes, KRS-ONE lives in affordable housing. Yes, indeed, and I love it. Oh, absolutely. I moved back to the Bronx, y'all. I'm back to the Bronx. I'm not in Atlanta anymore. I'm not in Atlanta. Simone's figuring out what to do with our house in Atlanta. We still got it. It's theirs, whatever. But we're now in New York. We now have returned to New York. And look at this, returned to New York after some 20 years, maybe 20, 25 years. I left New York about 25 years ago when I went to work for Warner Brothers. Started with that, got a gig at Warner Brothers Jive Records, dropped out all of their acts. I went to go to California to have 2 kids, Time and Isaac, and also take a job as a head of A&R for Reprise Records. That was part of my own knowledge, education. I was trying to see if being an executive, I could make something happen with hip hop. The only album I put out was the Temple of Hip Hop. It was the only album we actually released. It was called Criminal Justice because we saw what was getting ready to happen there. It was crazy, but we put that out. 2000, Reprise Records. We had everybody on the album. It was crazy. It was dope. It's a collector's item now. Obviously, only a few ever came out. In that sense, poorly promoted. You know the story. It was positive hip hop, and nobody wanted to really hear it. Now they do. Now they do. People are scrambling for the album now. Some of the songs on there make more sense now than they did then. But that was it. I was at Warner Brothers. I put out the Temple of Hip Hop at Warner Brothers. That's what it was. It was a dope time. But now 25 years, and that's when I went to Cali. 25 years later now, I come back to New York. I'm enlightened. I know what it is. I've gained the title of master teacher now, and I return to New York now to build a school. We have all the books. We have all the documentaries. We know where the scholars are. We can reach everyone. Now we can teach our people, and we will. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop ministry, archive, school, society. That's what we're going to be doing right there. Ministry, archive, school, and society, our nation, our community. That's what we're doing. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what we're doing. Building hip hop as a divinely inspired global culture of peace and prosperity. Our children need that. Our children need that. And we, in our older age, needs that as well. So that's the press conference. And the last part I was saying was that KRS-ONE is coming back to the Bronx. I'm coming back to New York, but I'm coming back to the Bronx in particular. And we're going to clean that up too, by the way. I got opportunities too. I got a bag of opportunities. You know how we tour. So we coming to take our people off the block. We coming to take our people, show them something different. And we got people who want to put grants to that. We got buses. We got planes. We got what we need to move our people into a different mentality. We could build our nation. And this is what the work has been over the last 25 years, just that part of it over the last 25 years. You guys know, you've been hearing me talk about hip-hopia for those 25 years. Remember when it was impossible? Like walking down the street smoking weed with no cops harassing was impossible. Well, when I said hip-hopia, that too was impossible. Now here we are moving in closer to our new city, hip-hopia. And it'll be franchised because all these cities will have to take on that. There'll be nothing else. Your people need this. That's April 25th, the press conference. April 27th, I'm in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm doing a concert in Wilmington, Delaware. We're going to break Wilmington down. I'm not just aware, I'm Delaware. Wilmington, Delaware concert, April 27th. Doing it like that. Okay, now we go into May. Turn your gospel now back to page 55. Well, actually, turn your gospel to page 555. We did 557. Go over to 555. I'm sorry. We did. Wait a minute. Hold on, bugging. Yeah, 555. 555. Go to 555 in your gospel of hip hop. I just want to read this real quick because May 3rd is Rap Day, Rap Music Day. And let me read you the 9th principle. This is on page 555, and I'm reading the 9th principle. May 3rd is Rap Music Day. Hip hoppers are encouraged to dedicate their own time and talent to self-development and for service to their community. That's what Rap Day is. Andre Harrell, from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde back in the days, Andre Harrell, major music executive, etc. He came up with this. May 3rd, he and others. May 3rd is Rap Music Day. And what were you supposed to do on that day? Hip hoppers are encouraged to dedicate their own time and talent to self-development and for service to their communities. Every third week in May is Hip Hop Appreciation Week. During this time, hip hoppers are encouraged to honor their ancestors, reflect upon their cultural contributions, and appreciate the elements and principles of hip hop. This is May. Now I'm going to hold off on November and August. August is Hip Hop Recognition Month, Hip Hop Recognition Month, and August 11th is Hip Hop Celebration Day. I'm gonna leave those two off right now. Right now, you see, and by the way, that August 11th Hip Hop Celebration Day. and Recognition Month should be added to your 9th principle as well, because we just did this at hip hop's I think it was the 48th birthday when we did SR 335. We declared August 11th Hip Hop Celebration Day and August Hip Hop Recognition Month. But I mentioned that because I wanted to read again our principles and read it. Look first sociopolitically. Everything we doing is still according to our gospel. We see life itself following us, following the gospel. This is our schedule as a temple of hip hop. This is our schedule. So what I want to do is hold off on August and November, because why? Because I'm reading, what we're doing is I want to talk about, I said Rap Day, May 3rd, and so on, but I want to talk about Hip Hop Appreciation Week. First, May 6th is Lehman College. May 6th is Lehman College. Okay, I'm going to be doing Lehman College in New York, in the Bronx. I think it's the Bronx. I don't know, where is Lehman College? Yeah. Yeah, in the Bronx. Lehman College, I'll be there with a whole host of people. Sal from Disco Fever is throwing the jam, the original owner of Disco Fever. His name is Sal. He's throwing the jam, and it's dope. I'm definitely down with that. Part of hip hop's 50th anniversary too. Disco Fever doing their thing. Crazy. So that's May 6th at Lehman College. May 8th, 2023 to May 12th, 2023, I'm holding a 5-day, 3-hour per day hip hop masterclass for teachers. I'll be teaching at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the community center itself. This is a special class because this is the class that if you take this class, not only do you become a first-tier hip-hop cultural specialist. I say first tier, there's like 3 tiers to the specialist, because you got to get over the 55 Ludlow to be not a real specialist, but to be a 3rd-tier specialist, a full hip-hop cultural specialist. You got to go through all the 9 elements. But here at 1520, which is the birthplace of hip-hop, which would be the birth of you as hip-hop. You come to 1520 and your birth as hip-hop. I'm handing out birth certificates. I'm handing out certificates of citizenship into the culture. This course is for teachers. The course that I'm giving from May 8th, 2023 to May 12th, 2023. May 8th, 2023 to May 12th, 2023. If you want to register for that, go to hiphopreservation@gmail.com. That's hiphopreservation@gmail.com. hiphopreservation@gmail.com. And put in the subject 1520 2023 class registration. Just put that in the subject so we differentiate. But the real differentiation is really in the tuition. This one-time course, real quick, is $499. $499, basically $500. This is for serious teachers, those that want to be part of this. We have scholarships as well. Dues-paying members of the Temple of Hip Hop have their own course in this. If you want to come through, if you want to fly in, there are day courses and night courses. I may do an afternoon based on the volume of people that may register, but right now it's day courses, night courses. Dues-paying members, your tuition is cut in half. There's a whole bunch of things going on that I could speak to you about on the side. If you've been paying dues to the Temple of Hip Hop, you have a seat here, Son One.
That's hip hop preservation.
Oh, hip hop president. So it's two P's. HIPHOPPR.
Correct.
Get that correction, everyone. Get
I'm gonna
that.
put it on the screen in a second.
Throw it up on the screen. So it's hip hop preservation. I have it written here wrong. Hip hop reservation. Hip hop preservation at gmail.com. Let's make that correction. Hip hop preservation at gmail.com, and put in the subject 1520-2023 class registration. But like I said, $4.99. I only have room for about 30 people per class. And what this is about is when you train during this week, you become the first people to actually be able to give a course at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. See, the exhibit is going to have a hip hop cultural specialist walking you through the exhibit. The 1520 building is a building. People live there. I live there. Okay, people live at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. I'm sorry, the housekeepers are out there. Okay, they don't need me. I'm sorry. I thought somebody was knocking on the door. They need me. Wait a minute. And there's the registration right there as well. Make sure you guys get that. Make sure you get that. So I was saying, so when you come to 1520 Sedgwick, this is what I was saying. The building is a residential building. It's still work. People still live there. We have security we're putting into the building. We're putting a doorman into the building. You can't just come by the building and just start taking pictures of people's windows and stuff like that. We would ask you to really be respectful of the fact that people live there. And if you're going to take a picture of the front of 1520, go inside and leave a donation. There's a press pass you can buy for 1520 for $15.20, by the way. You can buy a press pass, and then you can go and snap all the pictures you want in that sense. But don't just come and take. This is going to be the difference between a citizen of the culture and somebody exploiting the culture, just coming and taking pictures or wanting to charge money for August 11th, 2023. Like, for instance, what we're doing for the community, I'll get back to the teaching in a minute, but for the community, we're throwing free park chants. You know we're going to be in Cedar Park August 11th. We're shutting down the whole Sedgwick Avenue. We're going to be in 1600 Park. This is free to the community. We're going to come out and do our thing. And if I'm the only artist performing, that's just what it's going to be. But of course, I know others may come through and want to do their thing, and we're going to do our thing. But I'm just saying, I'm kicking it off, and this is what it is. So we're going to be on the block doing our thing. That's what it should be. Barbecue outside, kids playing. That's what it was originally. So 1520, I'll keep going on because I'm thinking of the actual day, August 11th. But let me come back to this teaching real quick. So when you come to 1520, you have to RSVP to be taken through the exhibit. You don't just show up to the exhibit when you feel like it. You call, you RSVP. You're given a time to come. You'll be part of a 30 or 40 groupings. We got up to 50 people, but we want to keep it intimate. 20, 30, that's doable. Everybody gets their photos. Everybody can, you can ask a question, this kind of thing. So when you come in to 1520, the whole place is automated. You can stand next to something start talking to you and this, but there is also a hip hop cultural specialist, and that's the name, hip hop cultural with a K, specialist, hip hop cultural specialist. That is the person that is trained by me to walk people through what's going to be on the wall at 1520, what the exhibit means, a history of 1520. All of that is what we're teaching. I'm going to give that knowledge. I'm teaching now, mind you, the Temple of Hip Hop. This is not what we've learned. We've learned a lot. We've learned a great deal about hip hop in 1520, but this is specifically for the exhibit itself to walk people through what is this? What is that? Why is this? Why is that? That's a specific teaching that people who want to be a hip hop cultural specialist, first tier, hip hop cultural specialist, first level, hip hop cultural specialist, you get to teach in 1520 the people who are going to be coming, RSVPing and coming through. You get to guide the tour and you get paid for it. Absolutely. You get paid for it and get paid good for it too. Because we're also charging $152 to enter the exhibit. It's about 2 hours with a 1 hour break, but it's like 2 hours. And we load you up. You get the shirt, you get a brochure, you get the 2 certificates, birth certificate, as well as certificate of citizenship. You get the knowledge. We're showing a movie, for a quick 15-minute movie, and you get to ask questions and all this type of stuff. $152. That's all we're asking. And why 152? Because it's 1520. We're keeping in style with that as well. And then that 152 breaks down even further. I'm not going to get into it here, but that $2 goes toward healthcare over there with the Hip Hop Alliance. We're going to put $2 into healthcare, and that $2 adds up. And once you have that kind of kitty going, now we can go to insurance companies, health insurance, life insurance, certain kinds of companies, and they see the kitty piling up. We got some money to pay. Now hip hop has healthcare. This is what we're looking to do. So it's like, I'll get back, I'll get back to that later. That's not my point right now. But my point right now is these classes are for those that want to teach hip hop at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Those that even want to go further, saying you want to go further with your courses, you start at 1520, you're birthed into hip hop as a teacher. Then you go to the Temple of Hip Hop, 55 Ludlow, and now we get busy right there. Where you have to rap, you got to break, you got to do grab, you got to go through the whole thing, and we teach you this as well. We teach you this as well. And when you come out of the Temple of Hip Hop, you're a full-fledged hip hop cultural specialist, the teacher. And then you walk out and you can command certain audiences, certain pay schedules, certain monies. You can command certain respect as well in that sense, because you're not the only one. It's going to be a few of us, and we're all going to speak the same language, and our teaching curriculum and profession is going to grow from here. And this is how we protect hip hop as well. We protect hip hop first by protecting hip hop's teachers, really by protecting hip hoppers, but I'm talking about the teachers, those that are going to teach the culture. We are the culture keepers. Simple and plain. Every culture, for any culture, its teachers are the culture keepers. So I'm raising up a new cadre of teachers. I'm raising up teachers. And this is specifically for those that are going to teach at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, specifically. Then if you
didn't mention tuition.
I did mention tuition is $4.99.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Tuition is $4.99, and thank you for letting me say it again. I appreciate that. Tuition is $4.99, basically $500, but it is worth it. If you want this, if you want the credibility of being a hip hop teacher, even, because remember, there's a lot of people out here teaching with no credibility. They have not gone to any legitimate institution. They have not been trained by hip hop's first master teacher. I say that humbly. I say that with a responsibility on my back as well. I don't say that in no grandizement way. I am hip hop's first teacher, period. I am hip hop's first master teacher, period. You want to come to the birthplace of hip hop and learn from hip hop's master teacher. This means something in the world when you show your certificate and say, I studied with KRS-ONE at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. I am authorized to teach hip hop. No one else is authorized. Now, others are taking their authorization and claiming this. But this is the point for us making an institution like the Temple of Hip Hop. No, you can go somewhere and be legitimized. And as you know, our knowledge of hip hop, I would argue, is the best in the world. We're actually empowering hip hoppers. We're actually telling you where to go, what to do, how to do it to be empowered and live this lifestyle. I don't see too many other master classes out there like that. So I say humbly, but I say respectfully and authoritatively, there's nothing else like this. I'm sorry. Okay, so take advantage of this. Take advantage of real hip hop history. That's May 8th to May 12th, 2023. You on the bottom of the screen, you register for the classes right there. Classes are $4.99, and you get loaded up. Straight up, you get loaded up. And of course, we need the help too. So not only, do we need the help, we need to raise teachers that are going to teach these courses as well. So this is what it is. This is what it is. So take advantage of that on the end of the screen. I'm almost done, and we almost good. Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Let me talk about the festivities of Hip Hop Appreciation Week. So after May 8th to the 12th, we conclude our course. You get a Hip Hop Cultural Specialist Level 1 certificate. This gives you the ability to teach the course at 1520, to be the host of 1520. You can explain what's on the wall. You can explain why we're here, what the history of 1520 is, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I'm teaching for 5 days as we get organized for August. And obviously you'll be there for August 11th, helping out with that as well. There'll be a bunch of people there looking at the exhibit, probably 100 people looking at the exhibit. Private, still private, but looking at the exhibit. We need at least 5 teachers within the crowd pointing out, and we all speak in the same language. We all saying 73. We're all saying Cool Herc, Cindy Campbell. We're all saying 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. We're all saying capitalized hip hop with a capital H. We're all saying hip hop has 3 natures to it and 3 spellings to it. We're all saying hip hop is 9 elements. We're teaching 9, the core 4, and then the other 5. We're speaking this language. Some of us will have our gospel out as well, because keep in mind, to teach at 1520, you don't need the gospel of hip hop, but the knowledge that's at 1520 is from the gospel of hip hop. So it's about how deep you want to go. Some people will just take the 1520 knowledge and then be turned on to the gospel of hip hop. Others already got their gospel and are going to take the 1520 course. Either way, it's up to you, really. But 1520 is its own teaching because it's its own exhibit, and I'll be teaching how to teach that exhibit. So now it's Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Right after that, 12th is the 13th. 14th is Mother's Day. 13th is Saturday. 14th is Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers. 15th begins Hip Hop Appreciation Week, May 15th to May 21st, 2023. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, well, let me say this. This year, the festivities for Hip Hop Appreciation Week is going to begin on Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're organizing, we're getting ourselves together. So there's not much going on. Not like last year. Every day of the week, we had something going on. But we found that was a little disorganized because we never gave ourselves a chance to regroup and come back again. We did a great thing last week, but it was grueling because because of these logistics conflicts. So this time, and also to save money as well, a lot of us flew in and had to stay for 8 and 9 days to catch the whole 7-day week. This time we're shortening it up so the money can flow a little better as well. Hotel arrangements can be made a little better as well. So we're only really celebrating 4 days out of the week in terms of festivities, in terms of what the festivities are about 4 days out of the week. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now you could leave on Sunday as well. I'm thinking about doing a KRS-ONE concert on Sunday. I'm thinking about it. I'm not there yet. I have to get the logistics together, sound equipment, and see if I can pull something into the gym and get it busy in the gym we have there. So you could think, and if you're flying out for Hip Hop Appreciation Week to take part of the festivities of Hip Hop Appreciation Week. So it starts Thursday. You may want to come in Wednesday. If you come in Wednesday, I always have that pre-Temple of Hip Hop private Wednesday deal where you meet the teacher, we take photos, we talk, I answer questions. We get that more intimate time right around a dinner, something like that. You just flew in, this kind of thing. I suggest if you're going to do that, do a morning or afternoon flight, get in, be able to take a 7 o'clock dinner with us. We do our dinners wherever we do them. Take that dinner with us, and then we'll be able to talk. All of us will be able to talk about, what anything really, and about the week. So that's Wednesday. It's like a setup week. Come in on Wednesday. You got that. Thursday, there's a Pioneers dinner. Thursday. Those that are coming in from out of town, I'm giving you that Thursday to run around New York. If you want to run around New York, last year there was some conflict. Some wanted to run around New York, and some other times others had their own schedule. It's different people. So Thursday is still an open day right now. Thursday is still an open day. I'm saying you just flew in yesterday. We did meet. We took our photo. We answered some questions. Wake up the next day. Take in New York. Take in New York. See New York. Go somewhere. Do something. Don't waste the time and I say waste the time just on us. But don't waste your time just on the Temple of Hip Hop. You're in New York. Take advantage of New York. Get around. Even taking the Hush tour. With Kaz and others. I saw Reggie Reg bringing some people through as well. Take these tours. These are good tours, and we're helping them to make their tours better. So Thursday night is the Pioneers dinner. That's what's going on Thursday. Thursday night is the Pioneers dinner. And the Pioneers dinner is basically, it's us appreciating. We did it last year, but we did it with Hollywood, DJ Hollywood, DJ Barron, Grand Wizard Theodore. We all sat down, and the Temple sat down, and we all ate and drank and told some crazy stories. Hollywood is out of his mind. We all now know it for certain because we were there. Brilliant, brother. You know what it is. But it was wonderful being there with DJ Hollywood, him talking and laying down real history and taking our questions while we did the dinner. Well, now I'm trying to expand that. We have our Temple now. I got tables, chairs. I'm going to do the biggest dinner. It's called a Pioneers Dinner. This is our second annual Pioneers Dinner, in which we're going to be in the gym. I'm catering it. We started working on that as well. We're going to cater the whole situation and have people get up, speak, and appreciate people in the room. It's Hip Hop Appreciation Week. So we're going to appreciate the founders and pioneers of hip hop, those that are still alive, founders and pioneers. And of course, they'll invite their family, friends, so on. So we're looking at about 50 to 100 people to be part of this in the Temple of Hip Hop, in our gym area. We'll set up a huge eat and drink gala while people talk on about their situation and bring up history and tell others how they appreciate them and have a moment of love and respect amongst hip hop as we eat and drink and have a good time. That's a Pioneers Dinner. It's private too, by the way. Dues paying members, you have carte blanche. You already have a table. If you want to be there, if you want to come and be part of this dinner, make sure you RSVP as well. We'll figure that out as well, how Temple members can RSVP. I got to do something separate. Matter of fact, Son One, you should make a note of that as well, that I have to make a separate list for dues-paying temple members that would like to attend these functions as well, because we could set private tables aside for them, for their family guests, so on and so on, and so on. These dinners are not charged. This is free, not charged, but it's private. You have to be a member of the Temple of Hip Hop and or an official hip hop pioneer, or part of their family, to be able to get into this dinner. So that's Thursday, Pioneers Dinner. About 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock we'll start. And by the way, I may actually, we'll definitely have a DJ there, but that's too obvious. May have to pull a band out, y'all. May have to pull a jazz band out on y'all. I might have to do you and jazz like the hip hop, like Stetsasonic or like the Roots. Wow, maybe I should call. Okay, you know what? Let me put that to the side real quick. But I did have some other bands in mind to come and play, hip hop classics, but live. Instead of the rhyme, you have a sax playing the rhyme, like that. And because it's a gala, it's a dinner. It's not just about boom bap. You know how I feel. It's not just that. These are older people as well. We are all older people. We like soothing music while we eating, drinking the wine, have a beer or something, and you want some good music playing. And hip hop has a lot of dope music that is jazz leaning toward. Just start playing the whole tribe, all of Native Tongue, okay, all of that. We can just start playing the classics from them alone. De La Soul. I'm just gonna start name dropping Tribe Called Quest and the Funky Homo Sapien, Del, all these people. I don't even know if he was Native Tongue, but the jazz, the jazz vibe of hip hop needs to be celebrated. In that sense, I'm thinking about doing it at the gala. So you have the band out, the music's going, the food's going, and you got, that adult scene going down right there. So that's Thursday, Pioneers Dinner. Friday, we're doing an MC workshop and cypher. The theme this year is MCing. So we're doing an MC workshop and cypher. I may have several going on. Time is putting together, my daughter Time is putting together the workshop, the MC workshop, and she obviously has a cypher going. The BDP.1 cypher will be there, getting it in as well. We may even turn the volume up on that in that sense. But all of this will be online as well, going out as well. But Friday is the MC workshop as well. There may also be a lecture Friday as well. We're trying to keep in mind there's a day and an evening, Some of them will run into each other like that, but we haven't planned the Friday. We're looking at a host of lectures, lectures on health, lectures on law. I got a street entrepreneurial lecture. I'd like to bring in some people to talk about finances and how to just raise money in that sense, places to go. That possibly is Friday. But Friday for certain is the MC workshop and the cypher. I'm gonna be part of that, the MC workshop. The cypher is the BDP.1 ciphers that we've been having, that we Time has been putting together. Saturday, the 20th, is the unveiling of the KRS portrait by Bradford Brown. He would have by that time finished the KRS portrait. So we're going to go back to the gym, back to the dinner, back to the DJ, but this time reveal the KRS-ONE part of the exhibit done in his unique art style. That is Saturday. But obviously Saturday, and that's Saturday evening. We'll invite probably most of the people that was at the Pioneers Dinner will come back again and be part of this unveiling. But this is more press now is going to be there. more cameras, more press, more get the word out kind of thing. And so on. Saturday in the day, however, G. Simone is putting on her crystal presentation. I overheard some of the phone calls she was making because remember, the last one we did, which was dope, she laid out all the crystals and we talked about the healing and memory of crystals and how important they were in that sense. This time now we're stretching it out even further. We're going to do it at the temple as well, 55 Ludlow right there. But she has a host of other specialists now that are coming in to give their spew now. And this is what it is. So we're going to stretch that out now to be a little more extensive. This is that crystal knowledge and how to use crystals, even buy some this time. Simone always gives crystals away in that sense, but the ones she's pulling out, I think she's going to have for sale this time as well, and only the expensive ones. They probably, only the real buyers are going to come through and purchase these. Simone even has the crystal that Wonder Woman in the movie Wonder Woman, the crystal that they said was making everything come true. This crystal, she actually has that crystal. In that sense, I was amazed. I didn't even want to touch it in that sense, but she actually has that crystal. So that's going to happen on Saturday in the daytime. Saturday afternoon, G. Simone does the crystal. Then that night is the unveiling of the KRS-ONE portrait by Bradford Brown. Sunday is our temple call again. And Sunday, you're going to start to see, I'm going to be obviously teaching from the temple. So the neighborhood's going to start to come in to the temple. And we're going to start teaching the neighborhood the principles of the temple and really preparing them to receive the world into hip-hopia. This is tourism now we're getting into. The neighborhood got to get cleaned up. The neighborhood, we can't be robbing the guests that come in. We can't have potholes in my lawn, potholes in the street. And there it is, RSVP Pioneer Dinner, May 18th to the 23rd. Temple Dues Benefit at gmail.com. You can RSVP right there at the Temple Dues Benefits at gmail.com. You can do it right there. So let me just bring it down real quick. Like I said, the temple call that Sunday concludes the week. We probably will be going up live from the Temple of Hip Hop there. More of the community will be in there. Like I said, we're training the community as to how to be citizens of hip hopia. Money in it for everybody. Fame and fortune, as they say, in it for everybody. This is not about a one man or one woman thing. This is about raising a community, raising an entire neighborhood. And so we're bringing in investment. We're bringing in the world. We need the world, you guys who don't live in the United States and those that don't live in New York. We need you to come and support. We need you to get the word out. First, let everyone know that it's Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Hip Hop Appreciation Week is every third week in May. Not that it is Hip Hop Appreciation Week. It's every third week in May is Hip Hop Appreciation Week. It's coming up. This May 15th to May 21st is Hip Hop Appreciation Week for 2023. So make sure you are, you getting the word out, help us in that way. If you have nothing else to give a word. Let people know that something positive is going on within hip hop. Let people know that real hip hop is over here. Let people know that real hip hop is trying to organize itself, trying to preserve itself, trying to bring a new image of itself to the world. We're not these irresponsible people that they're portraying us in mass media to be. That's not us. But who's going to step up and say it's not us? Who's going to step up and say, no, we're getting, or give another image? Who's going to give forth another image? It got to be us. It got to be us. And there's more people that agree with what I'm saying than those that disagree. There's more of us that agree. We know what we got to do. First of all, we know what we got. Now we know what we got to do. So Hip Hop Appreciation Week. First of all, May 3rd is Rap Day. Get your skills up. What? Then I'm doing the classes. May 8th to May 12th, special classes. Tune in. Make sure you get that. Don't let this go by. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it just go by. Because after that, I'll be giving the course again later. But those who get in on that first course, you know what it is. So don't hesitate. I only have room for about 30 people. And that's really 60 because I'm teaching a day course and a night course. That's it. And, and that's it. And I only need about 4 or 5 people to teach the course, so if a couple of people want to come on through. But, the teachers of this course are the teachers of this course. And we only need a few people to actually do this. Everybody who takes this course is not going to stick around 15, 20 to teach it. Some are going to go wherever they go to teach it as well. And also keep in mind, forgot to say this, the Hip Hop 50 Years exhibit is also on a flash drive. So when you become a hip hop cultural specialist tier 1, you get a portion of the exhibit on a flash drive for study. And not only that, you get to present if you want to spend the money and say, I'm a print out the flash drive. You have the authority to do that because you took the course. You're registered with 1520. You know what it is. We know who you are. You could go and have your own exhibit, 1520, your own 50-year exhibit explaining what it is, the birthplace of hip hop. You got photos, pictures. If you want to blow canvases out and do that kind of thing, you could have your own exhibit. Or some of you may want to go and just say, let me do the PowerPoint. I'll show you a PowerPoint and talk you through the exhibit or talk you through my hip hop lecture based on this. There's so many ways in which you could even get your $500 back because we're talking straight money in this course too. Let me keep that real with you. Okay, we're talking straight money. You paying money, we're talking money. So when we get here, I'm gonna show you the financial mechanics of the exhibit and how you can be involved with that. So that's why this course is very important for those that really want to step up and be part of 1520 Community Center exhibit. So this is it, y'all. That was it. I'm going to end by reading. Here we are. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark. Look at that. I thank you guys for your time as well. Let me read from the gospel before we go. Just want to read from the gospel before we go. There's 2 pieces that I want to read for you. 2 pieces. First, let me read. Bring yourself over to page 387. Page 387 of the Gospel of Hip Hop. Turn to page 387 of the Gospel of Hip Hop. I want you to see my 50 years shirt. Hey. Right? Okay, here we go. 50 years. I mean, page 387. 387. All right, go all the way down to paragraph 22. It's all the way at the end. It's at the very end. We're talking about Hip Hop Appreciation Week. I'm going to read this into the record. And this is very important. This is the spiritual implications of Hip Hop Appreciation Week. This is why we do it. And this is what works. This is what we are experiencing. Let me read this to you. Hip Hop Appreciation Week is a time set aside the 3rd week in May to acknowledge and appreciate. Did you hear me? Acknowledge and appreciate the existence of hip hop itself. During this time, the hip hop community refocuses itself through a collective review and update of its own history, as well as a renewal and update of its core principles and elements. Renewal, update, rejuvenation, resurrection, even. This is what Hip Hop Appreciation Week is about. Every 3rd week in May, Temple members get together and rejuvenate. Let me keep going. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, artists can be asked to give sound advice on what they've learned about life and living hip hop. Schools of all sorts can be encouraged to discuss hip hop academically and critically. Radio DJs can be encouraged to upgrade their play of conscious rap music over the airwaves. If you're a DJ right now and you listening to me during the third week in May, come on and put together that conscious rap mix. Come on and put together, bring out the same artists that's usually talking the crazy. They usually have one record on their album where they say, I was bugging. Let me tell y'all the truth real quick. Every rapper got that one record on their album. It used to be a tradition, but I'm quite sure that even the rappers of today, you got that one record where you're talking about society and what's going on. Find that record and play that during Hip Hop Appreciation Week. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, the hip hop community is encouraged to give the next person the right of way. Allow people to pass you. Don't block a person's forward movement. That has so many implications to it. Don't block a person's forward movement. Even like while driving. You know, how many times somebody got their blinker on, you just drive right past it. Like, yo, I don't even see that blinker. Sometimes holding up, waiting, and we'll get to that too in the last minutes. Waiting is another way of God moving you forward. God's foot is not always on the accelerator. Sometimes it's on the brakes to protect you, to help you. And here comes a car right alongside and they're gonna cut you off and you could fight it. No, bring your spirit in. You got it, go ahead. It's always better to let the devil go ahead of you than to be behind you. So you see somebody aggressive going on, you slow down and let them go ahead. But what this is implying here, don't block a person's forward movement. You see somebody trying to get ahead, help them. That's hip hop. Help them get ahead. Don't try to block somebody's advancement. Dissing them, bringing them down, tell them they ain't gonna be shit, slandering their name to other people so other people don't work with them. That's not holy. That's not spiritual. That's not even hip hop. Okay, that's just the problem. What is it? Sickness, hatred, ignorance, poverty. Give the next person the right of way. That's the point. During this week, you can turn back to your evil self after the week. But at least for this week, practice giving somebody the right of way. Stop running people down and cutting people off, and don't let somebody in front of you, or that kind of thing. Develop the character of peace and love. Donate your skill or profession to someone who cannot afford it. At the supermarket, give your change to the person behind you in line. You got that? Give your change to the person behind you in line, if you can. Be quick to compliment and slow to criticize. Be ready also to forgive and move on. Forgive and move on. Don't hold grudges. Be revengeful, holding hate in your heart. These things cause sickness and disease, dis-ease. You don't want to be dis-eased. You want to be eased. And we're going to get back to forgiveness in a minute. Give 10% of your salary to your child's teacher, if you can. Just walk up to your child's teacher and give them 10% of what you made. Ease a neighbor's pressure by donating your time toward the ease of some duty they must undertake. That's the same as donating. It's not the same. It's in the same folder as donating your skill to somebody who can't afford it. Well, donate your time to someone who needs it, who don't have the time. Donating your time toward the ease of some duty that somebody else has to fulfill. Donate your time to that. That's big, man. That's big. That's big. It's big spiritually, and it's big for the person. This is what Hip Hop Appreciation Week is about. And we can practice these things on our own, privately, amongst ourselves. It proves your spiritual character. Now, here's what you get. If you can do all this, for when this is your habitual nature, your habit is this. This is your habit. When this is your habitual nature, you will begin to experience a certain harmony with the happenings of life itself. Even when you are late, you shall be right on time. Let me hit it again. For when this is your habitual nature, you will begin to experience a certain harmony with the happenings of life itself. With the happenings of life itself. Do you hear me? This is the reality maker. This is what it is right here, the reality maker. Even when you are late, you shall be right on time. Even when you are denied, you shall be accepted. Accidents shall be either just in front of you or just behind you, but never with you. And even if you are in an accident, it shall be for your own good and or for the good of others. Never worry. This is walking this path. This is what I experienced when Hip Hop Appreciation Week was established in 1998. A couple of years later, every time I did this is what was coming. When others did it, I saw the prosperity in their life. I said, wait a minute, I got to write this down. This is not just about acknowledging or appreciating hip hop, but that the appreciation for something bigger than yourself causes certain things to happen to you. And for your benefit. That's the piece. For your benefit. When you are sick, it shall be so that you may become healthier. Even those who may rise up against you shall fall victim to their own evil plans. You better hear that. Don't worry about the people talking about you now and saying all type of stuff. They're going to fall by their own plans. Hate in the heart. You can't live like this. Where others must pay for everything they get, you shall receive useful things freely. You hear that? Useful things freely. Everything that you lose shall be returned to you. These things have happened to me, and I've seen them happen to others. And I'm not going to say just because they experienced Hip Hop Appreciation Week, but it was right when we was saying, yes, I appreciate hip hop. I'm grateful for hip hop. All of a sudden, where others had to pay for everything they got, we received everything freely. Everything that you lose shall be returned to you. Anything stolen from you or lost shall indeed return to you twofold. For when you make the decision to serve life, life itself shall indeed protect and serve you. By the way, from paragraph 30 all the way to the end of this particular lesson is highlight too, by the way. For when you begin to notice, for you will begin to notice a certain intelligence governing and guiding the happenings of your life. Do not be astonished by it. Do not overthink or marvel at the supernatural activities of your life. Only accept them as normal. This is what I was talking about earlier, about the artist and living for 3,000 years. Let me hit you with that again, okay? Only do not overthink or marvel at the supernatural activities of your life. Only accept them as normal. Expect it. This is the key. Expect it. Expect supernatural things to happen to you. Expect it, because that's how you get out of this situation. If you only got the world and you ain't got the earth, then the world is all you got. The earth, that's supernatural. Even though the earth is natural, the earth ain't nothing normal, natural. The earth will do some crazy. The earth will create, okay? The earth is amazing. is amazing. Okay, the earth. But you got to expect it. You got to expect miracles in your life. Expect miraculous things to happen for you. Expect it. If you don't expect it, you don't even see it. It could be happening right now. You just don't expect it, so you don't see it. You don't respect it, so you don't accept it. For if you show any fear, doubt, or surprise, you will show yourself not to be ready. Simply go with the flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. There it is. Now, I just read that real quick, and I just want to quickly run over. That was Hip Hop Appreciation Week. I want to run over real quick now to perform forgiveness. I want to read, turn your gospel to page 161. Turn your gospel to page 161. What we're doing is we're going over the character that it takes for us to succeed, for us to win, for us to do what we got to do, for us to really get what we got to get. It's not about just the money. Like, money's not going to lead this. Character is. Character is. It's not about the building. It's about the cause that made the building happen. This is what it is. Here, give me that. You on camera anyway. We'll say hello.
Okay. Hey. Okay.
This is wait, I don't need to look at this now.
No, not now.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that, y'all. So come back again. This is the character. This is what it takes in order for us to arrive at hip-hopia. This is what the citizen is. First, we got to love and care for one another. There is no group. There is no nothing unless we love and care for one another. If we can't love and care for one another, there is no group. I mean, think about that. There is no group if we can't love and care for one another. Like, thinking about the simplicity of that. There's no group without unity. As simple as that may sound, people still don't get it. You can't be hating your brother and your sister and expect to raise a group. Mass individualism is why people are oppressed. This is why, and the government knows. I'm going to say just government knows it, but I'm just saying, like, straight up and down, anybody in a leadership position can see, oh, you got no trust for nobody. I can get you. You ain't with nobody. You by yourself. I can get you. You ain't got no elder. You ain't got nobody who knew something beforehand. You ain't got no book. You ain't got no church, no temple, no mosque, no synagogue, nothing. I can get you. I can get you. And you sitting there arrogant in ignorance and poverty. Ain't nobody getting me. I'm living the life I want to live. I'm just Yubba Jubba Juba. And at the same time, they getting you every day. They getting you. And you wonder, you don't even know how they getting you, but you know you staying poor, though. You know you staying poor, though, and no matter what you do, you can't get out of the poor. You can't fix the situation no matter what you do. Why? Why? Everybody on this call right now know they want $1 million. You know you want it. Stop fronting. You want $1 million. You know you want it. You need it, as a matter of fact. You would do such great things with $1 million, like 1 million in your account. You go right now, and there's $1 million in your account. You would hook yourself up, your family. You probably redo your whole block with $1 million. So why you ain't got it? Hip hop is $1 billion culture, they say. I don't even know if that's true. But we repeat it. Hip hop is $1 billion culture. Why? Because we're selling CDs and all the stuff that goes with that, or we're streaming music and all the stuff that goes with streaming music. That's what makes us valuable. Because Forbes says that we're valuable. That's what makes us valuable. The minute Forbes say you're not valuable no more, you're not valuable no more. See, this is what we thought with the platinum plaque. We got the platinum plaque, which wasn't even your record in the plaque. They just spray painted it silver for platinum and gold for gold. Like, imagine that. Like, and dudes was with it. Platinum selling. I'm platinum, yo. Like that meant something. You sold 1 million records for some record company and they gave you a plaque that wasn't even your record on the award presentation. It was garbage. And they took it, spray painted it, and put your label on it. Gave it to you. They took the 1 million and gave you a garbage, a worthless plaque. But they got your value. And these dudes is running around saying, I'm smart. Or I'm bling, I got bling, I got a house on my wrist. I'm getting money. And you don't realize they taking your heritage. They taking your legacy. They're taking your ability to make money. They're taking that from you. Culture creates economics. Don't let them take your culture from you. You let them take your music from you. But we rose up and said, nah, you're not taking the culture though. And this is where we are right now. You're not taking the culture though. You're not doing it. So this is what the Temple of Hip Hop is all about. The character that it takes to be a citizen. Here's the character. Turn your textbooks, turn your gospel to page 161. It says perform forgiveness at the bottom of the page. This is the attitude of empowerment right here. Guilt is self-imposed. I'll say it again or read it again. Guilt, giving up inspirational living today. Guilt is self-imposed. Begin by forgiving yourself for all of your indiscretions. Do you have the strength to do that? To forgive yourself. I was ignorant. I was stupid. I did it. It was whack. I'm not him no more. I'm not him no more. I'm not her no more. And I'm declaring it today. I'm never going back there. Begin by forgiving yourself for all of your indiscretions. Yes, you do have the power to repent and forgive yourself. Yes, you do have the power to let it go. It's all in your mind. It's all in your head. Hold no grudge, harbor no and guilt. Because that's how you do it, you know. Notice the sentence. Hold no grudge, harbor no anger. Keep no anger in you. No grudges and no anger. Hold no grudge, harbor no anger. And release resentment and guilt. When you harbor no anger and when you hold no grudge and you harbor no anger, you do release resentment and guilt. That's the formula. You release resentment and guilt by not keeping anger in your heart. Release the anger. Don't harbor, hold grudges and harbor anger. Eventually it comes back to you on guilt and resentment. It comes back to you. Now we're back to the disease again. Remember, an act that you may have perceived as evil may have turned out to be a blessing in disguise. At the beginning of your spiritual studies, do not judge yourself and or others. Only make observations and learn. Don't be so judgmental. See, all of this leads to forgiveness. People always say, how could you forgive? He shot your mother, killed your family. Oh, how can you forgive? Well, that's precisely the time to forgive. Because you cannot destroy yourself. So whatever act is going on, you got to protect yourself first. So the first act of self-protection is forgiveness. And really from the heart. Somebody wronged you. They did you wrong. You first have that human experience. You did me wrong. I feel like stabbing you right now. You did me wrong. You got to have that first. Then you come back on yourself. I feel like stabbing you right now, but you know what? you're forgiven. And I mean it. I see you stupid. I see you did your thing. And you might have apologized. You're forgiven. Just don't do it again. I don't like that. But you're forgiven. I'm not going to hold this against you. I'm not going to hold it in my heart. That's hard to do. But the spiritual life is not for average people. This is for kings and queens. Negus and Kandake. That's what this is for. If you fronting and you ain't no real leader, then what I'm saying here don't apply to you. It don't apply. You be revengeful. You go seek revenge. You go hold a grudge. But for those of us that want to live free, those of us that walk with God, those of us that want to build a group, build a nation, community, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do. Make observations and learn. Learn. I can forgive you as a thief, but I know you a thief now, though. That ain't got nothing to do with holding no grudge or nothing. I know who you are, though. I'm not judging, I'm nothing, but didn't you steal my stuff? Yeah, you apologize, though, but I know what you're capable of. And that's why it's so important. Don't do crimes at all. Don't even get involved in that stuff, because you don't want people to look at you like that, like a thief, like a liar, like a murderer, like some crazy. Okay, you don't want nobody looking at you like that. You can't build no group like that. You can't stay in a group with that kind of reputation. You can't lead a group with that kind of reputation either. Turn away from evil thinking and never return. Show love, not revenge. Be ready to forgive others by restoring some level of resolve into the relationship. Forgive others just as you would want to be forgiven yourself. It says forgive others just as you would want to be forgiven. Be patient with others just as you would want God to be patient with you. This is a divine performance. And think about that. This is a divine performance. To recognize God, first of all, just a sovereign intelligence above you that makes your heart beat, your lungs go, provides air, water, all this, makes the earth spin, the intelligence of nature, the intelligence of the universe itself. You don't think that sees you? You don't think people just want to live their life like, they just want to live their life like these things are not real. And you can tell that they live in an illusion because they live that illusion like with things that are real, like death, for instance, is real for all of us in this reality. Okay, we're leaving here. But people live their lives every day like they're going to live forever. And it's not true for this society. We're all being killed right now. 100 years, you might get to 100, maybe. But really, 70 years, you out of here. 60, 50 years, you out of here. Okay, that's what people are dealing with right now. Okay, most likely they say, I think the CDC or somebody came out with a report saying that the average life expectancy is 75 years. It went up to 100, but it went right back down again. Drug abuse, depression, COVID brought down humanity's life expectancy. Imagine that. Imagine that. Eat green vegetables, drink water, and think positive. Okay, you'll get where you gotta go. Be ready to forgive others by restoring some level of resolve into the relationship. Forgive others just as you would want to be forgiven. Be patient with others just as you would want God to be patient with you. This is a divine performance. Give the transgressor a chance to repair the situation. If this is not possible, take steps to ensure that the evil and or selfish act will not happen to you again. Be still. Perform forgiveness, not resentment or revenge. Show love, not hate. Teach, do not judge. Show your spiritual strength through understanding and patience, not through emotion and or criticism. That's spiritual weakness. Although, always know that you are working on behalf of God, not yourself. Now, this is an important lesson. This is an important lesson for us right now walking into the temple. This will help you with the resentment you may feel because of the selfish acts of others. Work for God, not yourself. For every selfish act committed against you, your God shall indeed restore you. Work for God, not for yourself or others. Do not ask God to use you as a tool of peace or as a vessel of love if you are not prepared to be stuck into the dirt and the stench of the world itself. Know this, God shall use you to clean up the vomit of the world and to catch its feces. God shall use you to be stuck into the soil of the world in an effort to plant new seeds. And remember what the world is. Is this not the work of our God? Try to remember that symbolically you are a tool of God, that it is the universe, not you, that is doing the work. You, the teacher, are the tool that helps the work to get done. Just as we use tools to go into places that we ourselves cannot go into, so it is with God. God is spirit, and those that commit to their God are like that of valuable tools in the material world. This is real. Indeed, God is an artist, a master builder, a great architect, and we, the teachers, are the tools. When a great architect finds a good tool that is indispensable to the building of the world, that tool is preserved and repaired, cleansed and restored repeatedly for the sake of the work that is necessary to achieve. Eventually, the good tool is set aside and remembered for its faithful service. I'd love to be in God's toolkit, KRS-ONE, or a piece of God's toolkit. I worked, I did my thing. Then God puts you aside in that place where good tools are kept. Where you remember, I built the whole house with this one. That's the type of tool you want to, that's the type of relationship you want to have with divinity. You are the tool, teacher, in your environment. The teacher is a tool in the environment. And tools are used to go into those difficult and hard to reach places of the world. You cannot run and hide when difficult people and or situations arise. This is like a plunger that refuses to go into a stopped up toilet, or even a hammer that refuses to hit the nail into the wall. Teachers that refuse to teach difficult people in difficult places at difficult times are like broken tools. And if tools break where they cannot be restored, they are indeed thrown away. You are the representation of your God. Indeed, you may be the only hope in your environment. With every sincere act of forgiveness, you gain another degree in your spiritual development. And it is these degrees that prove your usefulness, strength, and trustworthiness before God. Forgiveness proves your endurance. Let me say it again. Forgiveness proves your endurance. Forget talk. Dude stole my car and I needed it. My computer was in the car, took everything. I'm so hurt. I'm distraught. At that moment, can you forgive? That just felt crazy me even saying it. Like right there. Can you forgive though at that point? Right there. Can you forgive? With every sincere act of forgiveness, you gain another degree in your spiritual development. And it is these degrees that prove your usefulness, strength, and trustworthiness before God. Forgiveness proves your endurance. Take advantage of every evil and or selfish moment brought before you. Tell the selfish one, you are forgiven. Look into the face of those who tried to harm you and say, you are forgiven. Even while the evil and or selfishness is occurring, subdue your emotions. Take advantage of the moment and tell the evil and or selfish one, you are forgiven. Even while the evil is going down, say it. It's an affirmation. Even if you don't feel it or believe it, say it. You are forgiven. You are forgiven. You are forgiven. Even if you feel like destroying the person in front. Say this instead. And really mean it. You are forgiven. Really mean it. God is examining your heart to determine your level of spiritual maturity and trustworthiness. Remember, should I say this? Remember your own times of ignorance and or fear, and correct your own past errors by performing patience with those who are blind, immature, fearful, confused, or have wronged you today. You clean your own dirt up by forgiving the dirt of others. Learn to forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness leads to freedom and health, while resentment leads to bondage and sickness. Take care of yourself. Heal yourself. Release guilt. Through virtuous living, turn your own ignorant past into a testimony or a ministry for the correction of others today. For no one can minister or teach upon a subject they themselves have no experience with. Instead of feeling guilty for your own past actions, use them as evidence for your wisdom and as evidence of your victory over the world's obstacles. Use your corrected failures as textbooks that you shall teach others from. Allow your corrected errors to qualify your wisdom to teach. This very gospel is a product of such advice. Let the immature thinking of others bounce off you like rain. Do not drink the immaturity of others by responding to their ignorance with more ignorance. In hostile situations, protect yourself first through immediate forgiveness. Never empower the weaknesses of others with resentment and or your immediate impulse to act as they did. Be the light in all situations. Shout out to MC Light too, by the way. Once you have performed the act of forgiveness, you can believe that God is sure to follow up with justice. I've seen this one. This is a divine performance. People be mouthing off, saying all type of dumb stuff. You say, what happened to so-and-so? Well, he got hit by a car. You'd be like, damn, I don't have nothing to do with that. You know, it's called the fear of God. The fear of God. You mouthing on, ain't no God. I don't give a fuck about your God. I'll tell you right now, you ain't shit. And the next day, that person get locked up for 25 years. You got to live long enough to experience stuff like this. I've lived long enough to experience stuff just like this. Justice is in the world. The media don't show you this. So you think bad people getting away with stuff. They're not. They're not. You don't rob people and don't get that. You know, all we get is, oh, they shot Johnny 5 times in the back. Oh, God. But now if you went into Johnny's life, and I'm not saying that these you know, the people ain't just shooting people, okay? I'm not saying that. But at this level of the game, there's very little innocence. Very little innocence at this level of the game. There's very little innocence. Not that what you got you deserve, not deserve, but the universe is doing its own thing. We keep thinking we separate from the universe, can control the universe, king over, dominion over the universe and nature. That's a joke. Nature will show you in 2 seconds, in a 1 minute tornado. Nature will show you have not mastered me. Okay, but we still don't look at that. We don't look at that. We just say, oh, it's I'm never gonna die. So I don't think about that. I just live my life like I'm never gonna die. There's the illusion people living under. You live in a total illusion. And these are our leaders. These are our teachers, school teachers and spiritual teachers. They're living in illusions, straight up illusions. And you can see in the character, you can see how they act towards certain things. You can see the habitual reflexes in certain things. And you say, he don't know. He don't know. If he knew, he would have acted this way because he knew that acting this way is this way. And you say, no, they just don't know. Not he's evil. She's bad. Look at how they act. No, that's not becoming of you. You look with a clear eye. You're not judging nobody. You just say he's young. He's ignorant. They're immature. They don't know. They don't know. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. They don't know what they're doing. So you as a teacher got to come up and say, listen, if nobody ever told you, and tell them. They may diss you. They may curse you out. But a teacher that refuses to teach is like a broken tool. Teachers that God puts in difficult situations, and you're there to teach. A lot of these teachers are put in situations, they're put in a situation and it overwhelms them. They don't realize that they are the ones that's supposed to overwhelm the situation. But no, they get in a situation and then beg God to get them out because they can't deal with it. But you got to go where God leads you. I thought hip-hopia was going to be somewhere in the desert, somewhere in Arizona, somewhere in California, Texas even, maybe New Mexico, especially New Mexico. I was out, and why did I want it? Because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be out there with the sun and the heat, and I wanted to be out there. No, God said, you're going to be stuck in Newark, New Jersey. That's where I'm putting you, KRS. And you need to go back to the Bronx where you grew up at pretty much your whole life, and go back there and teach those people what you've learned over a 50-year period. And that's what we're doing. No judgment, no criticism, no resentment, none of that. No grudges, none of that. I don't have it in me. It's not part of me. It's not my reflex. And believe, people have said some crazy stuff too about me. Crazy, like wild shit, and then people have said some disrespectful stuff as well. Make you want to go to the shoebox and pull that thing out and go see somebody. But no, if you're true to what you got right here, if you're true to this. Now, of course, years ago, look, you know me, years ago, I would have definitely saw your ass straight up, okay? I'm not playing with that. You call my name, you know I'm coming for you, right? Okay. But that's when I was 20. I was 30. Okay. This is what that was. And with that consciousness, that's how I acted. But then I grew up. 30 more years got on me. Now I'm closer to 60 than I am to 30. And now I'm beginning to see, as we all do, as we get older, we begin to see. It's better to love than to hate. These dudes talking, oh, KRS ain't this, oh, KRS ain't that. It's better for me to laugh it off and say, well, I'll see you. Time will tell. We'll put it that way. Time will tell. If anything you saying is correct. And most of what these people say ain't correct. It's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of that going on. I had somebody tell me the other day, this is so crazy. I got to share this with you. It's so crazy. So I saw this website, not a website, or maybe it was a website. I saw something that had me and some other people up there as the Illuminati. Okay. And they said, because KRS is a 33-degree Mason, and he be rolling, and da-da-da-da-da. And look, he said it. And I'm looking at this like these people are absolutely out of their mind. They're more out of their mind than I'm out of mine. Like they like trying to show that I'm crazy or doing something wild. And really, you don't realize y'all doing something even wilder. Like you lost your mind. Straight up, like you lost your mind. You put this whole thing together and it's not true at all. I love my Masonic brothers and sisters, no doubt. We bees at the lodge, no doubt. But I'm not a Mason. Let's be clear. Okay. Now, of course, Masons call me a Mason. They call me Master Mason, right? Because I'm studying truth. I'm studying truth. And anybody speaking truth is part of the building of Solomon's temple. Let's just be real with that, okay? That's their language, Freemasonry language. But nah, you if you part of this, and there's a lot of people who are about this truth. Many of them are Masons. It's about this truth, but some are not. They got to join the Masonic Lodge to speak truth. No, the truth is right there. Let's go get it. But now there's a result on your life based on your truth. You got peace in your heart? Let me see it. You got love on your heart? Let me see it. You got prosperity in your life? Let me see it. You read 900 books, or you're a professor somewhere, or let me see it. All this talk and virtual. No one's anything real in real life. Let me finish this up real quick. We're talking about forgiveness. This is the character. This is what we need. We got to forgive one another and become family and become friends. And then our nation can flourish. There's no war in us. There's no internal war. That's the point. The more you fan in the flames of internal war, the more you hold this whole culture back. You hold us all back. And for what? For your own what? Revenge, grievances. What? Well, I mean, what? It doesn't make any sense. But this is also how people can be enslaved for 300 years. They said African Americans were slaves for 246 years. The first month that we were slaves, what happened? What happened? White man come in, start beating, shooting, raping, robbing, stealing, killing. You went through that for a month. Okay? The first month of that, what did you do? What did the group do? We was bullshitting. Why Mary got on high heels and Janie got on sneakers? Why Jimmy got a big hat and David got a little coat? This is the stupid shit that was going on at the birth of slavery. Nobody want to talk about that, though. Just put it all on the white man. He racist and just started enslaving people. Believe that shit if you want. No man can enslave another man. Simple and plain. No man can enslave another man. Did you hear me? No man can enslave another man. Like, in other words, you put your hands on me, I'm going to break your neck. Straight up. And me personally, I'm 6'7". I love breaking necks. No, you're not putting your hands in my pocket. You ain't putting your hands on me. You're not putting, and the crew I roll with, y'all, come on, ain't nobody around here in the temple allowing that either. Okay, we will put your ass on the fucking floor, straight up. This is not a Christian ministry. This is hip hop. Let's be clear. But let's be clear. If we can't forgive one another, if we don't have mercy and respect for one another, if we can't love and care for one another, then we're not a nation. We're not a community. This idea of a hip hop culture, you just playing games with words. If we really about this culture for real, we're going to have to get with forgiveness. Because we all did stupid stuff to each other. All of us. We all did stupid stuff to each other. We all got a reason to ask for forgiveness and give forgiveness. That's a real culture. If you've lived a real culture, a real community, you've done some stuff to people that you need forgiveness for, and people have done stuff to you that you need to forgive them for. If we could start the chain of forgiveness, you start to build the foundations of real civilization. That's why I'm teaching this. Let me read this last part, 16 again. Once you have performed the act of forgiveness, you can believe that God is sure to follow up with justice. This is a divine performance. Work for God, not for yourself. For it is, and I'm coming down on this. I want to say this again. Work for God, not for yourself. That's the key part here. For it is selfishness that gives strength. For it is selflessness. Damn. It is selflessness that gives strength to forgiveness. Selflessness gives strength to forgiveness. No one can hurt or betray a self that doesn't exist. If you are hurting, it is most likely because you have accepted someone else's immaturity onto yourself, someone else's immaturity onto you. You have allowed the immaturity of others to change your godlike nature. You've allowed this. Therefore, do not waste time on revengeful, resentful, or angry performances. For with your divine performance, God is sure to close the show. Only seek to help. Even in argument, only seek to correct the ignorance of others. Never argue angrily or resentfully. Only teach. Mature hip-hoppers never argue just to prove their point. We don't argue just to prove a point. Such an argument is pointless. Instead, try to learn and truly understand the opposing view. Try to understand the other person's view. Show respect for the thinking of others, and with a forgiving heart, remind them of their own ignorance for their own sake. Remind them of their own ignorance for their own sake. I'm not telling you this to judge you. I'm telling you this because the last time you did that, it didn't work out. Remember? Last time you did that, it was whack. Remember? Last time you did that, you felt bad about it. Now you living with the guilt. Now you living with the resentment. Now you living with the revenge. Last time you did that. This is what we got to teach our people. Not to feel sorry for themselves and not to feel bad about their past, but to teach them how to use their past as degrees to teach others. This is what we got to do. This is what we have to become. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. I am KRS-ONE, teacher of the Temple of Hip Hop. And like I said, the Temple of Hip Hop is a ministry, archive, school, society. We believe that to teach, to preserve hip hop is to preserve the hip hopper. I laid out for you in a 4-hour session today, 3.5-hour session today, the forward movement of our temple, where we're going, why we're going there, how we're going to get there. I'm going to be raising up this fundraising as well. We need to gather in our cash right now so that we can put an exhibit into 1520 and then beautify the Temple of Hip Hop. That's what we're on right now, y'all. That's what we're doing. I told you about the shows. Show up if you want. We're going to be breaking them. You know what time it is. We're pulling no punches. The Kaz party in Queens is going to be crazy. Mad Heads is showing up to that. That's going to be crazy. But all the other concerts, you know how we get down. It is what it is. So I thank you again. Happy Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Happy Hip Hop, happy Rap Music Day, May 3rd, and so on. And the mission continues. Hip Hop Appreciation Week is May 15th to May 21st, 2023. And just before I go, why don't we put up again where you can register for the classes, May 8th to May 12th. Register for the classes for those that are going to teach at 1520. I thank you all again, once again, every Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we do it just like this. We get down. We have only one chapter left of our gospel to read, which is the shout outs. And that I want to do at the temple, which will close our session. And we will begin just teaching Newark, New Jersey, really the rest of the world. But we're going to teach the community in Newark how we got to be a hip hop nation. Big up to Dupree Kelly, Councilman Do It All from Lords of the Underground in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Mayor Ross J. Baraka, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Amiri Baraka Jr., better known as Mitty, the chief of staff, the mayor's chief of staff as well. Shout out to John Crotty, the owner of 1520. Shout out to Miss Gloria Robinson as well, and Miss Geraldine Davis, Tenant Association presidents as well. Shout out to Sam, the building super, Andre, the superintendent for the Bronx, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, a gospel singer, Vanessa L. Gibson, Bronx Borough President. Shout out to Vic Richardson as well, Mayor of Camden, New Jersey. Shout out to Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams, mayor of New York City. Big up to all of you for helping us, for staying in touch with us, and for making hip hop what it's supposed to be. That's it, y'all. I'm out. That's KRS-One. I'll turn you over for closing remarks to Son One.
Word. Peace and thank you, teacher.
Thank you, my brother. I'm out.
Yeah, so there we have it. Very exciting things coming up. I gotta put this down because my voice is echoing in my ears. Um, I'd like to, well, first say happy birthday to Cool Herc, Cool DJ Herc, DJ Cool Herc. Happy birthday to the recognized father of hip hop. Um, Hopefully he's in good health and having a special day today. Of course, we're going to be celebrating Kaz's birthday in a couple days on the 18th. So that's going to be crazy, of course. Let me see if I can just turn this down. It's very timely that our teacher brings up perform forgiveness as it was actually brought up by another esteemed temple member, Jay Best to me, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. Literally. And we were talking about perform forgiveness. And I would like to just add on to the point of as God even puts you in these situations, it's really to refine your conscious awareness of God and that which you know. Um, I would go as far as to say that God essentially is reality, and you're really only interacting with God in that sense. And it'd be crazy to wrap your mind around the fact. So wait, so God did that to me? In a sense, yes. But what the gospel lays out as far as I really wanted to jump over to page 292 real quick. And this is where we talk about this is in the inner city overstanding. And at page 56, I'll just read it and then I'll get to my reflection on it. It says, at some point in your training, you must finally accept the spiritual life and its powers and cease trying to live two lives in two opposing realities, one spiritual mystical and the other material worldly. You should repeat to yourself, I am a resident of God's spiritual inner city. I prefer to walk with God in the realm of the spirit. I have freely chosen God over the world, and I am content with my choice. Say all of this to yourself over and over again. I am content with my free choice. I am content with God's presence. Spiritual awareness is more important to me than the temporary sensations of the world. And my point in reading that is that normally, or actually, hold on, let me read this next one real quick. At some point in your training, you will be surrounded by fearful, desperate, doubtful people, most of which will be your closest associates, even members of your own family. But do not be depressed by this. They are there to help build your strength. And this is my point. It's every interaction that you have, every situation that you go through is really to help you and to help build you if you have the awareness that that is what's occurring. If you don't have the spiritual awareness to know that even in these so-called, excuse kids in the background. Hello? Right there. to understand that uh, you're having a spiritual experience, and the world, or what you believe as the world, will distract you to make you think that that's what it is, when it's really not. God is with you all the time, not sometime, all the time, omnipresent, forever with you, never leaves you. And if you can really wrap your mind around that and operate in the earth, knowing that this is God's reality and that it is God, those who can do that normally have the greatest experience here on earth. They have a wonderful time. This is why we always I don't know if you noticed, but myself, Teacher, Simone, we keep smiles on our face. Life is beautiful. And it is the unremembrance of what this really is that normally cause dis-ease, heartache, frustration. That's where that comes from. But if in when you actually can feel the presence of God in where you are, no matter what you're doing, whether it's perceived as a spiritual moment, whether not, if you could tap in to yourself and know that you are with God, this is absolutely beautiful. This is wonderful. And we're heading towards wonderful things. I'm telling you, I've had dreams of the future, and it's a beautiful time. It's a wonderful time. But you can't be distracted by those who really, if anything, you're supposed to teach. That's the other point. Uh, Everybody's not a teacher. There's a lot of students. And every teacher is a student too, but no, some students graduate and become teachers, and you have to have a knowledge of yourself. Who are you really? Maybe you can't switch your mind, um, to keep that spiritual awareness all the time. um, but this is come on, remind yourself. Remind yourself. Try to surround yourself with things that remind yourself. That's what this is for me. This is a reminder. Every time I see this, I am reminded of what God can do, of how God can answer your prayers, how God will essentially bring you through life, and before you know it, it's this. Next thing you know, you're in a future looking back like, oh my God, look at all the things that were done. Look at all the work that got accomplished. And this is why it's important that you fight your unconsciousness. Try to, or force yourself to do the things that's going to create a the best memory for your future self. That's what you want to do. And participate. Teacher always says the saying, revolution only works for those that participate. It's the same thing with God. God only works for those that participate. And good memories come the same exact way. A good life comes the same exact way. Participate in the goodness of your own life, and the result will be a good life. And this is what we're striving to impart on everybody that we come in contact with. This is the point. This is the point of preserving our culture. because this is the truth. This is the foundation of our culture, is that we exist in God. What we received as our culture came from God, and we're going to continue to promote, preserve our God and through our culture, and make sure that people know that no, there at least was somebody. There was somebody. There was a group of people that existed on the world that really came with gospel, came with good news, came with inspiration, came to try to uplift you and tell you that you are God, with God, in God, living God, and approach the rest of life as if it's God as well. Wouldn't you let God pass you if God had her blinker on and was trying to get in front of you? Wouldn't you let her go? Of course you would. Wouldn't you want to give some change to God after if you receive some change from what you just bought and God standing behind you? Yes, you would. And this is the approach. This is the approach to know that no. Why do we try to avoid killing insects and really anything? Is because everything has a purpose. Everything in this earth is working toward our survival as well. We know that's God too. So we try to live like this. And the having any type of resentment towards somebody that really just doesn't know as well as you is not the move. It's not the move. And odds 10 to 1, it's God working on your sympathy, your empathy toward others. Help you get that under control. Because again, where we're going, as teacher said, no, we're being we're not we're gonna make it Disneyland, but we're not being put into Disneyland. we got put into a specific place for a specific reason, because odds 10 to 1 there is where a specific people are. That with the right attention, the right care, and the right love, they're the ones who will actually receive what we've come to teach and handle it with the same love and care that it was given to them. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, and that doesn't mean that they're easy people. Doesn't mean that they haven't been blinded by the world as well, or blinded by situations that they've gone through. Luckily, those of us who have come to these conclusions have already gone through many of the same situations, and the veil was lifted off of our eyes. And so we're here to spread the wealth, health, love, and awareness. So try to go through this week with strength. We got these classes. You want to be in these classes. You really do. You really do. Hopefully, your life is making a way for you right now. You really want to figure it out. Obviously, that Pioneer Dinner is going to be insane. As for dues paying members, those who have supported us as a thank you, a sincere thank you. You have an entrance into Hip Hop City, straight like that. So again, just go through this week with strength. If you do whatever you feel as though you need to do, surround yourself with good things. Listen, take in good things. Turn off things that really are that take you out of your spiritual awareness. Um, there it is. Peace and much love to you all. I am Minister Sun One. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. We believe that the best way to preserve hip hop is to actually preserve hip hoppers themselves. Have a wonderful day.